And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on because there's a whole lot happening all over the internets, all over mainstream media, all over everywhere. The Arlington, Texas school shooter got locked back up again after he was released on bond from the shooting. Should he have been out? Obviously no. And it's clear that he shouldn't have been out because he got arrested again. What's going on with that? We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, imagine calling Joe Biden on a prank call talking about let's go Brandon and then getting death threats as a result of it. I mean, what's going on with that? A man can't do a general prank anymore. We'll talk about that. Also, shout out to the Delta CEO. I think his name is Ed Bastian, writing the CDC a letter talking about, hey man, that quarantine time is a little bit too long. You got it 10 days, let's go down to 5 days. And then less than 1 week later, they abide by his wishes. We'll talk about that in detail. Also, shout out to the USA swim official who resigned because it's like, hey man, we can't have these 6'5" Michael Phelps appearing XY men identifying as women and then competing against women. It's totally unfair. Clark Kent versus Betty Boop. We're not going to have that. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And we got a whole lot going on tonight. There's a whole lot happening we got to get to. And again, I thank y'all for being here. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show. And I thank y'all for that. If you enjoy what you have heard thus far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I most certainly appreciate you if you did. Also, this will be available as an audio-only podcast. Go to your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Link for that shall be in the description box below. And if you're over there listening to me, audio only, please give me a 5-star rating, a review, whatever you can. I'd appreciate it. And shout out to the sponsors, of course, as always. Shout out to patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. Been around for a long time, 25 plus years. You can get iPads, news from all over the country, all over the world, memes, whatever you want. Patriotpost.us. The link will always be in the description box below the video, all the videos. Also, shout out to bhedesigns.com. They make these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me. You could get one just like that or one of your very own over at bhedesigns.com. Also, shout out to me. Shout out to ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. All of that's over there. And we're going to have more products. I saw that I can create shoes. Shout out to Enes Kanter Freedom of the Boston Celtics for having the the anti-LeBron James basketball shoes. It may not be as detailed, obviously, but I'm going to try to get something cracking. But over on ablmerch.com, check it out. We got new stuff coming really soon. I'm going to try to put new stuff on there as often as possible. And also go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. A lot of you guys ask me, hey, how can I email you? What's your Twitter handle, what's your Instagram, what's your Facebook? All the questions shall be answered on anthonyblogan.com/contact. And also, once you go to the main page, I write articles for each video. So if there's ever a question about my sources and how do I gather my sources, the question shall be answered in the article for the video on anthonyblogan.com. Again, that is ANTHONY, the letter B, don't get triggered by this, LOGAN.com. Check it out right now today if you've not done so thus far. Also, subscribe to the newsletter. There should be a link somewhere. I'm not really sure where it's at. It might be in the box or on the website, but check it out. Now, where do we begin? First of all, Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm going to get straight into it. Almost forgot to mention that in the very beginning. There's a few things I didn't talk about in the very beginning in the opening statement, but Ghislaine Maxwell has been found guilty on 5 of 6 charges. And I think the one charge she was found not guilty of was something kind of specific, but I'm not sure what all the charges were. As a matter of fact, let me go on New York Times. I do have a paid membership to New York Times just for you guys. That's the only reason why I'm a paid member of New York Times, is so I can get information straight from the proverbial horse's mouth without having to run against the paywall. And I do it for y'all. So now, while I look up what the charges were specifically, I don't think any names were named, which is one of the most important things. You know, the whole thing about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, you know where he's at right now. You know, he's a whole barbecue sandwich right now. But anyway, the whole thing was to see, you know, who else is involved here. Because remember, Prince Andrew got implicated in this, and there was a whole big scandal. So there was quite a few names named. They were trying to name Trump. I don't think Trump was really involved like that. There's pictures of Epstein and Trump, but Trump spoke on it like some years ago while he was a president. He was saying that he was around Epstein, but once he found out what was going on, he backed away and kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago when he saw him flirting with a young girl inappropriately. Like, that was happening. It's possible to go hang out with the guy or party with the guy and not necessarily know what he's into. But if you're like Slick Willie, Bill Clinton, and you go on the Lolita Express 26 times and your name is on the actual log of the plane 26 times, maybe you know what's going on. If you were on the plane once, maybe twice, once definitely, twice you kind of pushing it, but 26 times, you are an active participant in whatever kind of debauchery he's got going on. I think Bill Gates was involved here. There's quite a few heads of state that were allegedly involved with the situation, but I don't think any of the names got named. However, Ghislaine Maxwell has been found guilty, and I didn't think that anything else would happen here, you know, because, you know, the fear was she's going to get suicide. I ain't going to say that word. She's going to get accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally deleted like Epstein. That was the fear, but no, she survived. She made it through the court proceedings, and she's been found guilty on 5 of 6 charges relating to trafficking of young girls all over the world. So I'm not able to find the exact charges. Let me just look for a little while, see if I can find it. They don't have it on New York Times. That's pretty interesting. Oh, CNN. Let me see. They have it. Okay. Trafficking a minor, that's 1 charge. Enticing a minor to travel and transporting a minor. 3 counts of conspiracy. And let me see. And the conspiracy are related to the ones I just mentioned. You understand? So the ones I just mentioned, let's go back and recap. You have trafficking of a minor. I'm not saying the SEX word because YouTube's watching, but you already know what it is. And also enticing a minor to travel and transporting the minor. Those are the 2 main charges. And then there's counts of conspiracy that come after that. You have conspiracy to commit a certain act, trafficking a minor, conspiracy to entice a minor to travel, to engage in criminal XYZ activity, and conspiracy to transport a minor with the intent to engage in criminal XYZ activity. So those are the things that she has been convicted of. And I think one of the charges she didn't get convicted on was very similar to the other ones. I'm not really sure what the methodology behind being convicted on the 5, but not the 6th, but whatever. She's not going to come home anymore from what I'm able to see, right? And I'm not really sure that the time for her to be able to tell is still available because, you know, when you hear about people telling, when they snitch, as they say, as a cool kid say, when they snitch, that's usually before a trial and definitely before the sentencing because they're trying to get a lower sentence. They're trying to reduce their charges. Just like a guy, he'll get caught with a bunch of guns, drugs, weed, or whatever. And the police are like, look, sir, if you tell on, you know, if you tell on your homies, if you give us the ringleader, then we'll give you a reduced sentence. If you don't tell, you're gonna do 75 years with no parole, 75 with the L. You won't come home again. But if you tell, you be out in 3 years. So what's up? What you gonna do? A lot of guys are gonna take that, and it's weird when I hear people talking about, oh, you shouldn't be a snitch. That's the worst thing in the world. Well, if you're dealing with a criminal, somebody that engages in really, just disgusting and deplorable behavior, why would they not also snitch? How is they any different than what they done? Like, really, in my humble opinion, the snitching is often the least bad, the lowest on the level of bad things they do. Okay, you done shot 15 people and then you snitch. Oh, big surprise. So that's kind of what's going on with that. But yeah, we'll see if anybody gets named just for some reason, because sometimes they'll tell why they're in the jailhouse just because. Maybe we should write a book from the penitentiary. Who knows? But I'm not really sure that's going to happen, because I think if she tells, or if she even has any inclination of telling, she's getting deleted ASAP. ASAP. I mean, you're talking about like Snapchat vanish. She's going to be a wrap. They might disappear her in the penitentiary. We saw what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. That was the craziest thing in the world. You mean to tell me this guy is 6 foot tall and tied his neck up on the top bunk where he could just get off the top bunk and stand from the bottom of from the floor to the top of the bunk? Totally, like, he could stand and have his elbow on top of the top bunk with his feet firmly on the ground of the cell. But he was able to delete himself like that. I mean, come on. That makes no sense. So we see what they can do. And then remember about Jeffrey Epstein, the guards all of a sudden, oh, they were doing online shopping. They took a nap at the same time. I was like, really? So you mean to tell me you got this really tense environment, right? A federal detention facility. You find time to shop on Amazon, take a nap. I mean, it must not be that bad in there. If it is, and I can't tell. I cannot tell. And you in New York City as well. The rats the size of the cats. You got cat-sized rats roaming around. The roaches got jetpacks. The roaches and the rats, and it's just like having horses and terrier dogs in there running around. It's crazy. But yet you're so comfortable, you're able to go on Amazon, look at books on Kindle and stuff like that. I mean, come on, let's stop playing games. So I believe, in my humble opinion, I think Epstein got deleted because they ain't want him to sing, and maybe Ghislaine Maxwell got the message. Oh, she got the message. When you see that happen to Epstein, it's like, okay, I can't say a word because that's going to be me. And if it did happen, nobody would say anything. They were like, oh, well, she couldn't take the heat. She checked on out herself. We know it's not real. We know it's not really realistic, but whatever. They'll pretty much tell us anything, right? And before I continue, RIP to John Madden. May he rest in peace, the legend, 85 years old. A lot of you guys may know him from the football games, from the actual video games. But he was also head coach of the Raiders for a long time. That's my dad's team. So I know about John Madden from back in the day. They won the championship back in the 70s, and he's been on television for a long time doing color commentating. One of the best to ever do it. So shout out to John Madden, RIP, 85 years old. Had a long life, right? A great life. To be, playing football with a short career, to coach NFL football, and then to be a commentator on television, and to have one of the most iconic video games of all time. So shout out to him. I think Madden's been a game since like I was little, like the 90s or 80s, going back to the Tecmo Bowl days. So very long time. And a lot of kids may not have ever seen him on TV. They may not have ever have seen him play, obviously, or coach, but they know the game, Madden. So RIP, Coach Madden, long life, long legacy. All right. Yeah, shout out to the Raiders Nation. Shout out to y'all. Unfortunately, one of your Raiders is on the plane acting crazy. The lady, I'll talk about her a little bit later. I guess y'all gonna disown the former Raiderette that was on the plane acting a plumb fool. There's much more about that story. I kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I didn't tell all the details. I mean, ultimately, the video I did earlier about the lady on the plane spitting on the old man because of the mask situation, ultimately, I got all the major point out, right? The point is that she's on the plane acting crazy over the mask. She shouldn't have been. The federales got her. That's the overall point, but there's much more to that story. And matter of fact, I'm going to get to that right now. I might as well. I done already said way. I'm already pretty much halfway in it. So let's go ahead and just jump straight to it. Now, have you guys seen the video I did today, or have you heard about the mask carrying on the Delta flight? This situation was completely bonkers. Now, I'm going to give you guys the short synopsis of the situation, and then I'm going to get into further detail, much more than I did in my video today, because there's a lot to this. Okay, this person has a pretty deep history. Now, what happened was there was actually a racial element to this as well. So I believe, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the flight attendants were serving snacks and stuff like that. And I fly Delta all the time. I fly a lot. You guys been on the airplane. You already know what it is. When they're serving the snacks and stuff, the cart they serve the snacks on is blocking the aisle of the cabin. So you really can't get past them. Okay, you're going to have to sit down in your seat and wait for them to get done serving, or find an empty seat somewhere and just chill out right there. So I think what happened was they were trying to tell her to sit down in an empty seat, and I think that it was a seat in the back. And if I'm wrong about that specific detail, let me know. And then what she said was, sit in the back. Who am I, Rosa Parks? And then the old man, and you know what, before I continue, I want to say that the old man kind of antagonized this, because if it's me, I wouldn't have been doing so much talking and egging her on. If you got a problem and you over here cussing and fussing and carrying on, I'm giving you the blank stare. I'll be like this. Now, if you do something to me, if you touch me, now we're in a whole different situation. And now I'm going to go ahead and digress on that point. But let's get back to the story. So when she said that about, who am I, Rosa Parks? The guy said something like, no, you're not Rosa Parks and you're not black, so sit down. Like, he was kind of just upset and kind of just, talking. If that was me, I'm not even getting involved with that. That's between that person and the flight attendant, unless the person is like hanging over me and spitting on me and all of my, because again, if you're up in the cabin, in the aisle, you may be kind of like in my seat a little bit. I've had it happen before where, your hip touched me all on my shoulder, your elbow is. Now, I'm gonna be very polite. I'll be like, hey, I need you to go ahead and move up a little bit for me, boss. I'll be very respectful, very kind. So I'm not gonna really, I won't say what he said though. That's not necessary to say, because why even do that? You see that she's acting crazy. Don't feed the troll. You dig what I'm saying? That's like you got a grizzly bear just doing a Tasmanian devil spin on an alligator outside, and then you throwing some water on it from inside your house. Why would you do that? Let the bear and the gator battle it out. Whoever wins, wins. I'm not getting involved, because now I'm tossing that water. Now I'm going to be the next guy to get ate up. I'm not trying to be this bear's late night, midnight snack. I'm going to be over here minding my business. But anyway, so she goes crazy on the guy. Now, mind you, it's an airplane. There's some kind of mask requirement or mandate, which is what it is, not requirement, but anyway. She snaps on him, and she's focusing on his mask because the mask is not on. Now, I think I'm going to play my video because it's already censored. It's going to be kind of weird seeing me in there, because it's like Inception a little bit. But I want you guys to see how she was looking. Matter of fact, I won't play the video necessarily. I'm going to just show you guys like certain pieces of it. Okay. I'll show certain pieces of it so you can kind of see what's going on. So right here, you see this part. Right here, and you see a little Inception right there, because right behind me is my original video and I was reacting to it. But right here, you see that she does not have the mask on. Well, not over her face and the mouth, not over her nose and the mouth where it should be. The mask is up under her chin like it's a football strap. Shout out to my man, John Madden, RIP. But right here, the flight attendant trying to get her to calm down, because the old man's right there and they're going back and forth. They're having kind of a battle. Let me back up a little bit right here. So you see that they're having a back and forth little battle that's going on. She's screaming, and she's telling them, put your effing mask on, put your effing mask on. They both don't have masks on. He's telling her, put your mask on. She's not listening. And eventually she spits on him, and she slaps him first, then spits on him. It was totally crazy. The federales came when she landed in Atlanta to arrest her. She got released, but I think there's a court date coming up, and she's been banned from any Delta flight. She can't fly on Delta, and she can't fly on any other means of commercial transport until her court date, and then she'll be sentenced. She'll go to the penitentiary, and I'm gonna tell you why she's going to the penitentiary. There's a reason, not just because of this, but there's more as beyond what you see right here. But she cannot go on a plane, or a bus or anything else like that. Okay. Like not even the bus. Like she lives in LA. You can't even go on the bus with the dope fiends out there in downtown. You got to pretty much, she probably can't even Uber. If I were an Uber driver, I'm not picking her up. If I see her face, the former, Baywatch, Playboy Playmate, I'm cool. Cause I'm not trying to have her, go exorcist on me and start spitting and cussing and fussing. I don't want to have that happen. So you see all this interaction between them. If that's me, if I'm the old man, I ain't going to say a word. I'm going to stand up and posture or mind my business. If I can't mind my business and ignore her, then I got to posture and be like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm a feminist too. Equal rights and lefts. How about that? That's only if I get touched. I'm not advocating violence. But as long as you don't touch me, then we're good money. I put my headphones on. I'm watching the movie on the back of my headrest, and that's going to be that, right? So there's a whole bunch of cussing and fussing, pointing the fingers, all that kind of good stuff, right? Now, you kind of get the gist. You kind of understand what's happening. Now, what happened was this. This went on for a while until a guy came and got her from the back. He came and kind of rescued her, both of them, really. Let me see if I can kind of fast forward to that point where the guy came. So the flight attendant trying to get her. They're still going back and forth. They're not having too much luck. All right. Now there's a guy that eventually comes up. See, and she's swinging and carrying on. Here comes the guy. Here comes my man. See, that's me right there. That'd be pretty much how I come up, like lurch from the shadows. Like, okay, let's put it into this. All right. And he gets up. I'm not sure who he is. He could be some kind of agent because sometimes they'll have agents on the airplane, right? They'll be on the airplane just to make sure that everybody's cool, everything's above board, and everything's copacetic. But whoever he is, he's able to diffuse it very quickly. Let me fast forward a little bit here. Because I was talking right there. So he gets her, and then it's over. Okay. And when they land, she gets arrested. Now, she lives in California, and she has an extensive criminal history, actually. An extensive criminal history. Let me see if I can find the article right quick. She had some kind of DUI or some kind of traffic accident like that. And I think she hit a car. Her sister called the police on her because she has a history of erratic behavior and all types of stuff, right? All types of just crazy, ridiculous stuff. Okay. And she did post bond. Like I said, she had got released because she post bond. All right. Now let me find the actual. Now there was a really good article from Law and Crime. There we go. Here's the article I want to show from Law and Crime. And this article is in the description box of the article I wrote on my website, so you can check it out there. Now, let's put this up. Former Playboy model and Baywatch actress charged with spitting on 80-year-old man. She's 51 years old. He's 80. Now, let me see if I can, talking about the actual arrest there, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now, got a police report. And let's go down a little bit here. So she was Patty Breton on Baywatch back in 1989, way back in the day. I was 5 years old. She was also on Married with Children, 1987, and then on Playboy Cheerleaders, 1997. And then she was a Raiderette in the early 90s. Okay. So now here we go. Here's meat and potatoes of her prior history. Cornwall started the year already in legal trouble stemming from a December 11th, 2020 arrest in Los Angeles for a DUI. According to the New York Post, she pleaded no contest to having a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or higher. She was sentenced in May of this year, 36 months of probation. Pause right there. See, this kind of goes back to the whole thing about, people getting out early and, no bail and police reform and things of that nature. She should be in the penitentiary. A DUI? Really? Is that what we're going to do? And you just get out on probation with no jail time? I done seen guys get penitentiary time for a DUI with no injuries, with no accident. So why is she able to get probation? And this has to be a probation violation. So that's why I said earlier, remember I said she's going to the penitentiary? This must be a probation violation. You assault an old man on an airplane and it's on videotape and it goes viral. Oh, you toast. Just from that incident alone, that's a violation. Aside from the actual sentence that you'll get from that assault, that's a violation of your probation, and you already got a DUI on your record. So let's go back. She also got 100 hours of community service and a 3-month alcohol and drug education counseling program for first offenders. Okay. But the education program didn't sink in. Cornwall was arrested again for a DUI, this time at 3:18 a.m. on November the 10th in Walton County, Florida. So I guess the DUI was last year, 2020. Now, she got arrested again this year, November the 10th in Florida. She was booked into local county jail and released the following day on $1,000 cash bond. Court records show she was charged with driving under the influence, careless driving, and failure to carry exhibit on demand or driver's license. So no license, drunk, and you already got caught drunk driving not even 11 months ago across the country. Like, what's going on? Okay. So she filed a notice of criminal indigent status with Justin Thomas Turner with the Public Defender's Office and was appointed as representative. Cornwall entered a written plea of not guilty on December the 2nd. Okay, and she got a court date coming up in January. Now, she's going to go to jail for that because you already had a case in California. Then you go to Florida, do the same thing. So it's going to be a wrap and no license. And then you get on a plane and attack an old man. So what's going on? Okay. Now, the arrest occurred after Cornwall allegedly crashed her gray Nissan into a tree in Santa Rosa Beach in California, I suppose, and tried to attack first responders. When a tow truck driver arrived at the accident scene and attempted to provide assistance, he reportedly found Cornwall in a driver's seat while unsuccessfully attempting to put the car in reverse and remove it from a tree. I mean, and the tow truck driver called the police saying that he noticed an odor of alcohol from Cornwall's breath. Florida Highway Patrol officers arrived, found Cornwall still in the vehicle. She refused to get out and provide her name. The arrest report described Cornwall as having a, quote, flushed face, slurring her speech, being belligerent, and attempting to fight the police officers. So you get the idea, right? Oh, one more. There was also an order of protection entered against Cornwall in January of this year after her sister-in-law, Monica Cummings, filed for domestic violence protection from the courts. In legal documents, Cummings alleged that Cornwall had, quote, a history of violent outbursts and destructive and erratic behavior and had allegedly left her voice messages threatening to kill her. So you got a really crazy person. Remember, I was talking about in the video, if you saw it today, you have the crazy cat lady, right? You have a crazy cat lady. She's a cat farmer. Okay. And I didn't even know that she had a cat until I was reading the New York Post article some more. And then sure enough, there's a picture of her with the cat hugged up like it was her baby. Nothing against anybody that has cats. If you like cats and dogs and whatnot, that's great. I love dogs too. Not really a cat guy myself, but if you have cats, nothing against you. But we all know some crazy cat farmers out there. Let's not play games like we don't. Okay. These eyes right here. I mean, the cat has more of a sane look than his human being. Then the cat's human is crazy as crazy can get. You understand what I'm saying? So you have a cat farmer that totally went postal. That's what happened. Matter of fact, I was speaking about the episode of The Simpsons where it was the crazy cat lady origin story. And I'm not going to play the full thing because obviously copyright and things of that nature. I'ma just hold on. Can I okay, origin. There we go. Crazy cat lady origin. So this right here pretty much, that's so you got somebody that's like a businesswoman, doing the thing, working as a doctor and a lawyer at the same time, and then start to get kind of worn out, start hitting that wine. Here comes one cat for comfort. It's all good, no problems. And then, she's up in the penthouse suite, and years later, here we go. The degree throwing that, the cat's throwing that. So this is what you have. You have a woman who is mid crazy cat lady stage. Back in the 80s and 90s, she was the hot girl on Playboy, Baywatch, Married with Children, all this and that and the third, going to the Hollywood parties. But now you have a crazy cat lady. Obviously. I mean, you got DUIs back to back on a plane, spitting on old men, attacking her sister-in-law, talking about, I'm going to kill you, all this and that and the third. I mean, come on. We see what's going on. She's crazy. So, yeah, you might need to go to the penitentiary and tighten yourself up, because we can't have that kind of behavior at all. Not in the least bit. All right. So, yeah, shout out to you guys in the building. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I most certainly appreciate you if you did. And what else we got going on? We got a few things happening today. Oh, speaking about airplanes and Delta and whatnot, have you seen that the CEO of Delta may be kind of responsible for the CDC's policy? Let's go back to this video I did, or at least to the article. Now, the CEO of Delta, Ed Bastian, asked in a letter for the CDC to lower the recommended isolation time from 10 days to 5 days. And so what does that mean? That means if you test positive for the bug, they quote unquote recommend you stay isolated, meaning quarantined, for 5 days rather than the previous 10 days. So the CEO wrote this letter. Well, the story was published about the CEO writing a letter on December the 21st, right? So let me get both of these articles up so y'all just hang tight. And if you've not liked the video yet, please do so. I most certainly appreciate that. But let me go. Hold on. Let me go right here. All right. So here is the CDC director. Pardon me, not CDC. Same thing, right? Delta CEO, CDC director. What's the difference, right? So Delta CEO asks CDC to cut quarantine time for breakthrough virus cases. Now, this was published December 21st, 2021. So just last Tuesday, correct, of this year, 8 days ago, last week, 1 week ago. And again, his request was to have the quarantine time cut from 10 days to 5 days. And then a week later, December 27th, not even a week later, this happened on Monday. So we're talking about 6 days later, CDC cuts the recommended isolation and quarantine periods for virus infections. Now, this is hilarious because in this NPR article right here, they don't mention anything about work or Delta or anything like that. They talk about, because, a lot of the symptoms, they happen early on in the process, right? Matter of fact, hold on. Let's read this first little part. I ain't going to bore you to death. Just this part right here, because we got to see it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because you guys got to know. If you guys don't know, you guys do. But maybe some of your family don't know. Maybe they don't really believe you. Oh, you watching that guy on YouTube with the hats? He's a crackpot. He makes stuff up. I promise I'm not making it up. So check it out. People who test positive for the virus need to isolate themselves for only 5 days if they don't show any symptoms, the CDC said Monday. This cuts in half the early recommendation of 10 days isolation. Data show that the majority of virus transmission occurs early in the course of illness, generally in the 1 or 2 days before symptoms begin and 2 or 3 days after. So what does that mean? They're literally making up numbers to equal 5. Look, 1 or 2 days. So max 2. Okay. Then 2 or 3 days after, 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay. Let's go back to what Ed Bastian said. Again, the Delta CEO, not the CDC director, the NIH director, nothing like that. Delta, the airplanes, Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson, that guy. Okay. Now, let me go right here. CEO Ed Bastian, along with the company's chief health officer and a medical advisor, asked in a letter to the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, seen by Reuters, that the agency's recommended quarantine period for anyone who tests positive with a breakthrough virus case be reduced to 5 days from the current 10. So is it a coincidence that you write a letter to the CDC asking for what they did and it happens a week later after you say it? I mean, come on, let's stop playing games. Now, they put out a statement, the CDC put out a statement talking about, oh, well, it's about, early symptoms. And Anthony Fauci got on TV and was saying, hey, we got to get back to life. Matter of fact, there's another video. I played one clip on my video earlier about this. He did another video doubling down. So it's not just me. The CDC says one thing, Ed Bastian says something else, and Anthony Fauci agrees with Ed Bastian. So who are you going to believe? The CDC, Anthony Fauci, or Ed Bastian? Looks like 2 of these guys agree. Only one disagrees, and the one has a greater incentive to lie to you. They want to lie to you because they're the government and they're paid to lie to you. That's what's going on. But let me go ahead and get this video loaded up right quick. Here we go. So, is it about science or nah? If it's about science, I can't tell. This is some weird science. This is political science. This is college political science. It ain't no epidemiology or biology or nothing like that. This ain't no germology, whatever they want to call it. This is, I'm trying to get money science. This is, we got to get back to work science. This is, we got these staff shortages on these airplanes and we keep canceling flights. Let's get back to work and get these planes in the air science. That's what's going on, period. So let's go ahead and watch this clip from your main man, Dr. Quote unquote, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Hold on, pardon me. Let me get some sound. My fault. Let's start over again here.
The purpose of it is that given the wave, the extraordinary, unprecedented wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people who are being isolated, who are asymptomatic for the full 10 days, that you could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running. So the decision was made, although it's not completely risk-free, of saying, let's get that cut in half so that we could have 50%, namely half of the 10 days, and 50% of that time, people can actually be out with a mask in society.
So basically, get back to work. That's what that means. You said it right there. You said it. Okay, he said it. I didn't make it up. You said that. Matter of fact, there's more. He said it before this. And if you didn't see my video, I'm going to play that video. I mean, I don't like when I get gaslit. Like I said in my video, I don't like when I get gaslit. If you want to say something, just go ahead and say it. Don't make up lies and things of that nature. Just don't do it. Let's not play games like that. Let's just be real. Okay, here's another video, this time from the Common News Network, aka CNN.
Let's begin with these new CDC guidelines. Why is the CDC now changing these recommended isolation times for people who test positive for the virus but don't have symptoms? I guess the simple question is, why now?
Well, the reason is that with the sheer volume of new cases that we are having and that we expect to continue with Omicron, one of the things we want to be careful of is that we don't have so many people out. I mean, obviously, if you have symptoms, you should not be out. But if you are asymptomatic and you are infected, we want to get people back to the jobs, particularly those with essential jobs, to keep our society running smoothly.
There you have it. There you have it. Let's get back to the workforce. Let's get back to our jobs. Is that about science, or is it about trying to get money and trying to just make sure everybody's straight? Is it about trying to please your man, Ed Bastian, who said, hey, man, we losing these workers, man. We got to get right back to it. Maybe the DC people don't like having their flights canceled. They're trying to go visit their family over the holiday, and they can't go because the flights are canceled. But what are we going to do about this? I can't go back to my vacation home in Florida or somewhere like that because the flights are being canceled. What are we going to do? Hey, man, if you cut that quarantine time down, we'll be good to go, because the reason why we got so many people short staffed is because they test positive for the bug and they can't come to work because of the quarantine time. Eliminate that completely and we good. And now we can't do that. Let's cut it in half to meet halfway. You say cut it all together. I say 10 days. How about let's do 5 days? Deal. All right, cool. I'm going to get on TV and I'm going to sell it to the American people. That's what's happening here. It's so clear. It's so obvious. It's so corrupt. This administration, I mean, we're looking like China at a certain point, you know, because you see certain things in China that are obviously fake. It reminds me of North Korea, actually. When you see things, North Korea, and talk about it in documentaries, and they ask people, they'll ask us that are watching, how can they believe this? How can they believe that this man is like a god? How can they believe that? Well, people still believe that the bug can be eliminated by the vax. They still believe that. Even when they catch it, they still believe it. I mean, when you have a demoralized people, they believe anything. Your best man said it best. When you're demoralized, nothing that someone can show you or tell you will make a difference. You can literally bring somebody to the concentration camp and be like, look, man, just open their eyes like this. Look at the concentration camp. They won't believe it because they've been demoralized. That's what's going on here. If you can't see that and just put two and two together, then I can't do nothing for you. All right. I can't do a thing. All right. So when someone says it's about the science, be like, what science? Political science? The science of air flight in the sky? What science are we talking about? Because if it's about epidemiology and virology, things of that nature, then I can't tell, because it seems like we have decisions being made on other things aside from what they say that they're being made for, you know. But I digress. Thank you guys for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you're hearing thus far, give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And we got a whole lot more going on here. So, did you guys see the Texas school shooter got arrested again? So you guys remember the Texas school shooter, Timothy Simpkins, right? Out there in Arlington, Texas. This guy brought his gun to school. Matter of fact, he's 18. And he was 18 when he did the whole thing. He's 18 years old, brought his gun to school, and then shot, I think, 2 or 3 people. There was one person that was the target, and others were shot just because they happened to be right there. They're bystanders, okay? So he shot the gun, shot 2 or 3 people inside the school. He was able to get bond for like $75,000, and he's out of jail. He was out of jail for a while until it didn't last anymore. But he got arrested again, and now he's back in jail in Tarrant County out there in Texas. Now, my thing is, how do you violate bond when you shot a school up? You were given the greatest gift in the world, bond on a school shooting. How could you do that? How are you able to? You're taking it for granted. Because if that was me, I would never do that, by the way. But if that was me and I shot a school up and I'm getting bond, I would be quiet as a church, but I wouldn't do anything. I stay in my house. I stay in my room, not doing a thing. Because I don't want to go to jail until I got to go to jail. You understand what I'm saying? But this man, 18-year-old, couldn't do that. He had to get back into some trouble. And what he did was he failed a drug test. I'm not sure what the drug was, probably some weed, because that was allegedly the whole thing to begin with. Allegedly, the whole shooting was over a drug deal gone bad over some weed. So let me get this straight. You bring your gun to school to shoot a guy over some weed? Weed, really? I mean, if it's that bad, if you're a dope fiend like that, just go to Denver and just get weed legally. Go to Denver, get a job, shoveling snow or something like that. And if you want to go get high, go to the dispensary legally up in Denver. You ain't that far away in Texas. Just do that. Matter of fact, go to California. It'd be a guy moving to your neighborhood from California to escape. You take their U-Haul back. You get it for the low. You're 18 years old. Why not? You're an adult. Go to California and figure it out. You could be a bum on Skid Row. You could smoke crack too if you want to. They got everything out there for the low. It's so weird. But anyway, allegedly the whole thing about the shooting was over some weed. So then he pops positive on the drug test, which is online record, is public record. He popped positive for a drug test. And now he's back in jail because he violated his bond. The bond said no drinking and no drugging. And what did he do? Went out there and drugged. So maybe he shouldn't have been out in the first place. Just maybe. If you bring a gun to school and shoot it up, maybe you shouldn't get bond. Maybe you should be in jail until your court date and then go to the penitentiary. Because he's going to go to the penitentiary. That's a pretty much foregone conclusion. You're an adult, 18 years old, with a gun in school. It's a wrap. You're done. You're toast. You're totally toast. But see, I think he thought he was invincible because his family, you know, they out there supporting him, all this and that. They gave him a party. And I'm going to find that picture because, oh, here it is. Whenever I see this, I get infuriated. Infuriated. Hold on. So here is this guy. That's him right there in the blue shirt, Timothy Simpkins. The day after shooting a school up, he shot 3 to 4 people. Family loves him. Big smiles, crazy smiles, right? Hugged up. You got fried chicken, fries, Sprite, all that stuff. A whole party. And they're right there with him. You know, straight hood family. You already know what it is. But where's the shame at? You shot a school. And the craziest thing that I heard was this whole issue about, oh, it was self-defense, ABL. It was self-defense. How was it self-defense when you bring a gun to school and you shoot a guy over a weed deal? The gun, illegal in the school. The weed deal, illegal. You're doing all kind of illegal stuff. You shot random people on top of that weren't even involved with your beef with the guy. And when you're talking about school shooters, a lot of times they do get bullied. This guy was not bullied because it was a drug deal gone bad, allegedly. But what I do know, what's not alleged is that there was no bullying. But even if he was bullied, that's no excuse to go shoot a school up because a lot of these school shooters are bullied. You know, that's the whole thing. They were bullied. They were outsiders. They were loners. And then what they do is they go get a gun, shoot the school up, and they got a hit list on their laptop or sheet of paper. It'd be a hit list. That was Columbine. That was all that stuff. So there was no excuse to go there and shoot. But not only are you given bond, you're given a chance to be at home with your family and relax. You violate it. I mean, this is the problem. You got guys that commit the same crime over and over again. They don't get punished appropriately. So they don't really care about the punishment. They don't really care about following the law when there's no punishment for what they do. And these guys are not necessarily super smart. They have pretty low IQ, but they have enough IQ to understand consequences. If they do a thing and they don't get in trouble, then they're going to keep doing it. It's like if you touch a hot stove and it's not hot and it doesn't burn you, why would you stop touching it? If your mom says, hey, do not touch that, and you touch it and there's no burn, there's no effect, there's no consequence of getting hit or nothing like that, you could just keep on doing it. Because why? I'm not getting disciplined. I'm not getting burned. I'm going to keep on touching the stove. That's him. And a lot of these guys are the same way. I've said it before. Some of these guys, like in places like Baltimore, Maryland, you 25 years old, you've been arrested 80 times. 80 times at that age, obviously you're not really going to jail. You're just getting arrested. It's like going fishing. You caught and release. That's what's happening right now with these urban inner city areas. It's the same guys over and over and over again. The officers know you by name. Oh, what's up, Lord Jarquavion? You doing that again, huh? And then it gets to the point where if you got defund the police and bad prosecution, bad judges, the police won't even come. The police, they'll see you doing something crazy and won't even intervene because they know there won't be any punishment, no prosecution. Then you have bad crime and people that live there, that voted for it, flee and go to a new place and do the exact same thing. That's why Austin is kind of a California enclave, because they left Texas. I mean, they left California for Texas, but brought the same culture and laws and whatnot from California. It's not a good thing to do. Not at all. Yeah, exactly. It's not legal to bring guns in school. It's not legal to shoot your rival because of a bad drug deal. You can't just say, hey, man, that was a bad deal, I'm going to shoot you, even if it was legitimate business. Like, let's say you get into a business deal with somebody and business go bad. Even if there was fraud involved, like aside from things just going bad, just because sometimes things go bad, you know, you invest in the thing, it doesn't pan out, you lose your money, whatever. I'm talking about straight fraud, like an illegal thing. You can't shoot that guy because he frauded you. That's not how that works. You can sue him, bring him up on charges, try to get him locked up, but you can't shoot him. Oh, you frauded me. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to shoot you. That's not how it works. Not at all. He's going to learn. He's going to learn today because he's going to the penitentiary immediately, and rightfully so. He should have been in jail this whole time rather than being let out. That's why we're talking about bail reform and things of that nature. Is not good. All that's going to happen is you're going to have more crime, because when the criminals hear bail reform, they think, oh, we lit. I can go out here and do whatever I want. I won't get locked up. And if I do, I'm back on the street in a very short period of time. There's little to no resistance for me to do whatever I want. That's the whole thing, right? But I digress. What else we got going on? Oh, shout out to the USA Swim. What was she, like an official? She quit over the whole thing with the trans swimmer Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas looks like Michael Phelps. Not as good as him, obviously, but looks like him physically. If you took Bret the Hitman Hart and Michael Phelps and put them together, you have Leah Thomas. Now, Leah Thomas competed as a man for, I think, 2 or 3 years at UPenn. This past year or so, they became a woman and competed against the women in swimming. So just to recap, he was a male swimmer at the same school for like 2 or 3 years competing. Then he became a female and competed against the women. So you got 3 years of training your body up, or before that, probably in high school, middle school, whatever, training your body up. You're about 6'5". You have all these male characteristics. You got your neck, your crazy Adam's apple. Okay, you get all of that type of stuff going on. Your lungs, your heart, your back, your legs, all that stuff is male. You can't take any kind of amount of hormones or testosterone reducing pills, whatever they want. You can't take anything like that to make your body be different. No pill will make your physical body like shrink. That's not a thing at all. Ain't no growth. Ain't no, like, you know, you won't get taller from pills or shorter. Your chest, your bones won't become any less dense. You are a male XY biologically competing against women. Now, she had a really good clip I'm gonna find right quick, and it pretty much summed it up. You know, no pronoun check, nothing like that. It's like, hey man, this is crazy. We got to stop doing it. Here it is. So shout out to Miss Cynthia Millen for speaking out, because a lot of people don't want to speak out. They're afraid they're going to get canceled. They're afraid that there's going to be retaliation against them. But at a certain point, somebody got to say something, because what's going on here is crazy. Exactly. Size 14 pumps. Like, right. That's just, your feet ain't going to shrink. You got them same big feet, just like your man, Caitlyn Jenner. Okay. So, I mean, the same voice. Hey, I'm Caitlyn Jenner. The same voice, the same body type, all of that, even at 70 years old. Okay. But let's see this clip right quick. And again, this is Cynthia Millen, a former USA swimming official.
Been covering the tension in women's.
Let's go ahead a little bit here. Hold on one second.
USA swimming official. Cindy, I say former because you just left this sport days ago. Why did you quit?
Raymond, bodies swim against bodies. Gender identities don't swim. Leah is a man who is swimming against women. And there's no problem with Leah to swim, but Leah should swim against Leah and not against women. Men swim 8 to 12% faster than women. Men have larger lung capacity, skeleton, circulatory system, heart, and nothing that Leah did by taking a year off to take testosterone suppression drugs, that does not change Leah's body. So every time Leah jumps into the pool, it's a man who is competing against women. This is grossly unfair. His records are now approaching that of Katie Ledecky, Missy Franklin. He's going to be wiping out women's Olympic records, and it's not right for women swimmers, and it's certainly horrible for little girls who are in the sport. They don't matter.
I mean, perfectly said in a very short period of time. Very well said. I mean, it's like, come on. At a certain point, we got to stop playing games here. You're talking about the XY man. An XY man. And, you know, I think you're going to see a lot more kickback from the women because I could say whatever I want, right? But I'm a hater. I'm a transphobe, right? Which I'm not. I don't care if you want to identify as a bag of dirty laundry. That's your business. That's as an adult. You could do that, okay? Because I cannot control how you think. That's your business. However, we got to respect each other's spaces. If you have women's sports, let it be for women, XX women. You may look masculine. I mean, the WNBA, I mean, come on. Some of these chicks look like they can just, you have roof laying, brick laying looking young ladies in WNBA. Super rough. Looking like one of my big homies, game banging homies that got locked up for 20 years. You got them over in the WNBA. They look masculine, yes, but they're still women. Ultimately, they're still XY women, regardless of how they look, how they appear, how they identify. If they're LGBTQ, so what? They're still women. And there's physical differences in men and women. The tallest WNBA woman, I forget who it is. It might be Brittany Griner or the other one. It's just like the modeling, whatever. But the tallest WNBA woman can't even really dunk, barely. I mean, barely dunk. But you got guys that's like 5'6" dunking like it's 360 windmill dunks. You 6'9" as a woman and you can barely get over the rim. Barely get over the rim. A 5'6" man can go above the rim, spinning, 360, all of that. So, I mean, there's clear differences in men and women. When you put a biological XY male over with the women, it's unfair right away. Joanna Man, I thought it was a movie. It's a documentary. It's a playbook. Some of these guys, I feel like they're trying to do the whole Joanna Man thing because Joanna Man, this guy in the movie, he got kicked out of the NBA, or they folded or whatever. He was banned from the NBA. He's like, hey, I can't play over there with these guys. I'm gonna go over there and be a superstar. That's what's happening. These guys are not getting banned from the male league, but they can't perform over there very well. They're not very good. They're coming in dead last, not charting at all, just not very good. Okay, how about I take my superior physical body and go compete against the women? That's what's happening, and it's not right. If you allow men to just go to the women's side and compete against them, there is no more women's sports. It's over with. It's a wrap. Men will always win. Like I was saying in my video, Ronda Rousey in her prime could probably beat the average guy off the couch. Okay, you got a dad bod, you can't fight. Not everybody. You guys are, MMA fighters out there, but a lot of your average guys can't really fight that well. Not all, but a lot. So if you get that guy from the couch, dad bod, can't fight, not really trained to be a fighter, he's an airline pilot and a dad. He's not really trying to do that. He's not have to be in the octagon fighting for his life. But Ronda Rousey does. So if you put him in the ring with her, she'll probably win, right? But if you put a well-trained man or a halfway decent trained man in there with her, she's not going to win. If you put the top level guys in there with her it's going to be impossible for her to win. Imagine Ronda Rousey against Anderson Silva or Rampage Jackson. It'd be like watching domestic violence. Ugly. UGLY, no alibi. Ugly. Or imagine Mike Tyson with Ronda. I mean, come on. That's absurd. Again, if you put the top trained guys with the top trained women, the men will always win, and it's not fair to the women. So if you want to be a feminist and if you want to be, pro women's sports, then don't allow men to compete against them in their sport. Period. Yeah, exactly, Jason. The worst guy would crack Ronda. If a guy, dad bod, you eating potato chips, you got Cheeto beer or whatnot that can't fight at all, that if you want some stairs, he be winded, he would probably lose against Ronda Rousey, more than likely. If they're the same size and he's out of shape, he probably would lose. But a trained fighter, nah. No. No, it's not going to happen. So that's what's going on with that. So yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to, I think her name is Cynthia Millen, for resigning. Just saying, you know what? This ain't what I want. This is not going to be good. I don't want to be part of this. If y'all going to have XY men compete against women, because if you're an official and you got to judge fairness and what's going on in the sport, how can you judge fairness when you have an inherently unfair thing going on right in front of your very eyes? I can't ignore that. I cannot ignore that. If I'm an official, if I'm a referee or whatever, and I'm judging, a fight, and they got equal weight classes and, everything's where it's supposed to be, and, it's fair, it's an even playing field, all of a sudden, here comes a guy that's 6'8", fighting a girl that's like 5'5". It's like, man, stop, please. Let's cut it out. But anyway, what else we got going on here? We got quite a few things happening. Shout out to the Arizona State University case. Remember that case I covered a few weeks back about the young men that were in the multicultural center in Arizona State University? So they're in the multicultural center. One has on a anti-Biden shirt. Another guy has on like a Police Lives Matter bumper sticker on his laptop. And they were pretty much getting screamed out. Let me see if I can find that right quick. I know I have it somewhere. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's put it on the screen right quick. So remember these guys? One second. So these guys minding their business in the center, just doing their thing. Remember?
You guys have the same sticker of the other.
But this is our space.
We've got a Police Lives Matter sticker and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school.
So he has a shirt that says didn't vote for Biden, and the other guy has a Police Lives Matter sticker on his laptop, and a Bass Pro Show hat. So the Bass Pro Shop hat and the sticker and his anti-Biden shirt were violence against the Multicultural Center, because they know you can't go to a place like that wearing stuff like that, because it's going to be triggering to people that are there, because nobody black or quote unquote multicultural believes that police lives matter, or that they don't go fishing and they love Joe Biden, right? That's the premise here. Okay.
You're
Hold on. Pardon me for the loud noise.
offensive. Police lives matter?
You have the same sticker.
We're just trying to do school.
What?
You guys have the same sticker of the other.
But this is our space.
We've got a Police Lives Matter sticker and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school.
So basically, they were getting confronted by two young ladies. They were getting confronted by them because they were quote unquote offensive. They're in a multicultural space, and of course, they're young white males. That's like the greatest sin in the world. Being a young white male, that's the worst thing on planet Earth. I've seen videos of people talking about there shouldn't be any more young white men. Get rid of them early, delete them early. It's like, wow, really? Is that where we going? So this goes on for a while. The video is kind of long. They're getting paraded and screamed on. They're not really saying too much back, especially the guy right here with the Bass Pro Shop. He's just kind of chilling. So this became kind of a viral video, right? It became a viral video, and there was an investigation launched by the school, by Arizona State University. They launched an investigation, and they found out that they were guilty. Now, they did another video, like a follow-up video, and the way they said it was like they got locked up. Like they got, like it was a jury trial and they got found guilty. It's like, wait, I'm like, you're gonna go to jail? Like, what's going on? Now, the punishment for that crime was, number one, a warning, and then number two, write a 3-page paper on how to have civil dialogue with somebody, to be civil with somebody that you disagree with. So I say that pineapple goes on pizza. You say it doesn't. Let's have a civil discourse on why I'm right and why you're wrong. That's all it was, a 3-page paper. This is like back in middle school when you get in trouble and they say write a 3-page paper. That's kind of what this. You're talking about adults here. This is college, and they had been there for a while. I think these are like 5th-year seniors. So these are people that are way too old to be behaving this way, right? And they're trying to be like activists. That's the whole thing. They're trying to be like activists, and they want to get some attention. They want to be like AOC. They want to be like everyone else is getting money from doing this. Like you see people like Sean King and whatnot. They want to be like them because there's money involved, right? So that's them right there, the two young ladies. I'm not sure what race they are. I don't know if they're black, if they're white, if they're biracial, there's something else, but there's some kind of ethnic. They could be, Indian from the Indian subcontinent, black, white. I don't know what's going on, but they came out and gave their 2 cents. I'll play a little bit here, but I won't play this whole thing. It's like 10 minutes. We're not going to play. We'll play like 1 minute of it, and that's it.
23rd. Hateful and racist symbology invaded our multicultural center on ASU's Tempe campus.
So the hateful and racist symbology was the Blue Lives Matter sticker, the Bass Pro Shop hat, and the anti-Biden shirt. That is what she's referring to. You saw the video. That's the whole thing.
And made the center unsafe for BIPOC students who were trying to study. The 2 white men.
BIPOC means black, indigenous, person of color. So basically non-white. That's what it means. It's a new woke term for non-white.
Both students displayed a Police Lives Matter sticker, a Bass Pro hat, a Chick-fil-A cup, and an anti-Biden t-shirt.
I forgot about that. Chick-fil-A, that's the racist chicken, right? Chick-fil-A, I almost forgot about that one. The horror, Chick-fil-A. What are we going to do?
The Police Lives Matter sticker was on one of the white man's laptop, which was clearly directed towards a black woman who was leading the black study tables across from him, as the boys chose to sit across from the black study tables. The boys made the space uncomfortable with their nonverbal aggressive gestures directed towards the black woman.
These are all adults here. They're like little kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, they remind me of like little kids. I mean, come on, man. You're an adult. Behave like one.
The students called for help from ASU, but no one came for over 30 minutes. So we were forced to confront these men by ourselves. After this incident, we received thousands of rape, death, and lynching threats on our personal intentional violence by white supremacists from across the country.
Okay, so they kind of use the R word right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause, but you get the idea. They're out, they're making a video, they're trying to combat against it. Hold on. Let's go back, let's go a little bit further up because you gotta hear this part.
With university activities.
Hold on, let's see what the conviction was for.
Kicked out by the institution. The community to protect ourselves from being kicked out by the institution. ASU's investigation found us guilty of interfering with university activities.
Guilty of interfering with university activities. So are you going to go to jail for that? Is it a gulag type situation or nah? Like, what's really going on here, ma'am? Is that all we got? Talk about a first world problem. You have no problems. Life is good. So you got to create problems because you got to have fun, right? It's got to be drama because if it ain't no drama, it ain't no fun, right? I digress.
Dear white people, aka ASU, You openly discriminated against us on November.
The coordination was hilarious. So shout out to them for that one. Hold on. I'll run it back one more time and then we'll move on. I promise.
With university activities. Dear white people, aka ASU, you openly discriminated against us on November 16th when you handed down your decision from your racially biased investigation.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna pause it right there and just move on. But my question is always, when I see these people protesting, you're paying no money. It's your money. If you don't like the school, they're racist, they're bad, they're evil. Why are you going there? Take your money and go somewhere else. I don't really understand the whole thing. If they're so bad, you've been going there for a long time. I mean, why are you still there? It's so dumb to me. It's your money. You paying the loan. So what are you even doing? You going to a school in Arizona. If you want to have a black experience, go across Mississippi River and go to Virginia, go to Maryland. Matter of fact, go to Georgia. Stay in Midtown Atlanta. Matter of fact, stay on the east side. Stay on the west. Stay Boulder Crest or somewhere like that. Gresham Road. Get a bulletproof vest and a Kevlar helmet because you're going to need it. But hey, you get the black experience. You get to be in a sorority, making them little whistling noises and whatnot. It'd be fun. But nah, you want to be in the desert in 1,000-degree weather being with the so-called racists. It must not be that bad. If it is that bad, I can't tell. You ain't missing no meals. Everything's all right. So what's the issue? It's kind of weird. But nah, they were dead serious. Oh yeah, it's on the Instagram page, matter of fact. And again, it's on my website. And the article I wrote about that particular video is right there. And the Instagram is called MC Solidarity Co. It's a multicultural solidarity co. Read and sign our proposal for the Cultural Excellence Center and its affiliate programs and demands, including the defunding of ASU PD. So what's happening here is that you got these adults that act like they're 15 years old who are bored, nothing to do, so they got to create drama to get attention. That's the bottom line. The bottom line. Okay. And I'm glad that they got found, quote unquote, guilty and were given that really childish punishment because that's how they're acting like little kids. But I will go ahead and digress. I got super chats on deck. I'll read those right quick and then we get into the calls. And the prank caller got doxxed. I talk about that maybe a little bit later, but that whole thing was crazy. Shout out to my man for calling the Bidens and saying, let's go, Brandon. You did a great thing. Fantastic prank call. Too bad people got triggered. They found his information. They're trying to dox him, sending them threatening phone calls, all over saying, let's go, Brandon. They could say F Trump, F Trump, F Trump, F Trump forever. They still say it right now. That's totally fine. But if I say, or if you say, or if we say, let's go, Brandon, it's like the worst thing in the world. You know, it's like sending a death threat. It's like, really? Come on. It's a fun little chant. It's family friendly. Kids can say it. It's all good. You know, freedom of speech, is that not a thing anymore? I can understand not wanting to be vulgar in front of the kids, but let's go, Brandon is not vulgar. I'll tell you what is vulgar when they go on TV and say the S word and F Trump and stuff like that without even censoring it on CNN and places of that nature. Okay. When you got chart topping songs talking about F Trump, that's pretty vulgar, but that's allowed, ain't it? That's encouraged. I was seeing think pieces about how good the resistance against Trump is and how good F Trump is. All these things are good, but let's go, Brandon is not. It's crazy. So yeah, shout out to my man, what's his name, Jared Schmeck, for just, expressing the views of the public. That's all. Yeah, it said it was a racial slur, Boomhauer. That was crazy. They said it was a slur, a right-wing slur against the president. Really? A slur? They ain't say racial slur, but when you hear the word slur, you think racial slur. So then when somebody says, if you say, let's go, Brandon, you're racist, they use the word slur to try and tie it together to make it make sense. It doesn't make sense by itself, but then when you use certain words to describe it, it makes sense in the minds of the ignorant because they've been programmed to think that way. It's all a game, but I digress. Super chats on deck, and then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. We'll get to those in just a moment, so y'all hang tight. Super chats on deck first, and then we get into the calls. Let's go back to the first ones here. Thank you to Apu for a few, as always, who says, Merry 5th day of Christmas, ABL, and 5 golden rings. Great show. Thank you for that. Also, last live stream of 2021, biggest story of the year, Afghanistan, border, COVID, J6, inflation, crime, President Biden, VP Harris, incompetence. I say Afghanistan. I would say Afghanistan too. That probably was the biggest story. They want to say in the media January 6th, like the media will say January 6th. They're going to do these wrap-ups, top 10 stories. They'll definitely say January 6th because that gives them ratings. Whenever they say January 6th, that's a ratings boost because it's like still leeching off of Trump. It's still Trump news. Every news channel got a big bump because of Trump during his presidency. So if they could say January 6th, that allows them to still talk about Trump, even though he's not there anymore. They'll totally ignore what Biden is doing and focus on Trump. That's the whole thing, in my humble opinion. Also, J6 federal entrapment is a story that made me the angriest. Total inside job by FBI snitches like Stuart Rhodes and Ray Epps and John Sullivan. Right on. I'm hearing the storm right now outside of my headphones. So if the stream cuts off, it's not my fault. Blame the storm and the white man for making the storm happen. All right, but we good right now. Also, God bless January 6th, mega patriots in DC jail solitary. The anti-view says, I'll be driving through Tennessee next month, boycotting flying. Any recommendations for must-see places on the way to Florida? Hit the like for ABL. Well, that's a good question. Are you going through like Memphis area, which I don't recommend going through that area, like on West Tennessee? Or are you coming from like Midwest, Chicago? Like, are you going through Nashville, Chattanooga? Well, put it to you like this. If you go through Nashville, you'll do Chattanooga as well, because Nashville, you got to come like to the north and west Nashville and then go through Chat to go down to like Georgia, go through Atlanta and go all the way down to Florida. So Nashville, go downtown, go to the Grand Ole Opry, get you some barbecue out there. Just enjoy that downtown area. It's really nice. If you can, try to peruse some of the country music stars' houses out there in Brentwood. You might not be able to because you might got some guarded gates and whatnot, but definitely go downtown Nashville. It's my favorite place out in Nashville, obviously, is downtown. And Chattanooga, that's my neck of the woods. So I say go downtown, Chat, do the incline train to go Lookout Mountain. Once you're on the mountain, well, not that way, but do the incline train, go to the Point Park, which is like, once you go up the train and get off at the top of the mountain, take a right on your feet, just walk on the sidewalk, go all the way down to Point Park. It's a beautiful view of the whole city. If you drive in, go up on the mountain and go to Rock City. That's a nice little attraction. It's a lot of little spots out there you can go to. A lot of fishing and hiking and whatnot, a lot of bridges, beautiful place. River's right there. So yeah, Nashville and Chat, do that. But avoid Memphis at all costs. If you go to Memphis, get a bulletproof vest because you're going to need it. Anywhere in West Tennessee, I don't recommend going. All right. Apple also says, ABL, if Klaus Schwab wearing a weird Heaven's Gate cultic robe says her Logan is the name of radical racial reparations, I will pay you $2 million to wash your feet. Would you accept? No cameras stipulated. Look, sir, anybody washing my feet for no money, I don't care if there's no cameras involved, I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to do it. That's like saying, hey, man, if one of these dope fiends in San Fran can fling doo-doo on you, would you let them with no cameras around? It's like, no, we're not going to do that. I ain't trying to mess around and get whatever kind of outbreak disease they got. I'm not going for it. Gatlinburg as well, but Gatlinburg's kind of up a little bit, kind of out of the way. But Gatlinburg is really nice. Yeah, Pigeon Forge, Severe View, all of that. Dollywood, basically. That's a good place, but you're kind of going up. You're going up to like Knoxville. So if you want to go up out of the way and not just like along the interstate, you can go to Knoxville. Like if you go through Nashville, just go east directly rather than south. Just go straight east to Gatlinburg. That'd be cool if you do that. Apple says, just messing with your ABL. Thanks for your comedy 2021. Also, does ASU teach reading? Those woke chicks are illiterate. Hey, man, they do not teach reading, obviously, because they were struggling really hard to read there. Also, Delta Karen from Raider Cheerleader to Cat Farmer. Big time cat farmer, man, for sure. I could tell just from her behavior, just really erratic and crazy. Butt versus Windshield says, my favorite John Madden saying, quote, when it comes down to it, whichever team scores the most points is going to win. Yeah, RIP, big guy. Yeah, RIP, my man, John Madden. Also, Peter Parker, Clark Kent versus Betty Boop, Comedy Gold. Also, ABL favorite card game, poker, Crazy Eights, crib. I'm not really a card guy like that. I've played poker before. It's cool. Uno, stuff like that. Yeah, of course. You know, but I'm an old school guy. Give me some I Declare War. It's like the easiest game to play, ain't it? Something easy like that, just to pass the time. It's cool. ABL, chess, checkers, backgammon, Parcheesi. I played chess a long time ago. I played online chess back in the day. I'm kind of rusty right now, but I played chess a lot when I was younger, actually, when I was a kid. And checkers is always easy. But yeah, chess then checkers. Not really about backgammon. I played backgammon when I was real young. When I was like a little kid, I played that, but I can't play it anymore. Also, any Biden cabinet political resigned over Afghanistan? Nope, sure didn't. Also, Biden shut down the virus. Now he surrenders. Quitter. Yeah, so have you guys seen where Biden was talking about, okay, we're going to shut down the virus and we're going to have all these mandates and whatnot from the federales. Then he said, oh, there is no federal solution to end this. So it's up to y'all. It's up to the states. We can't do it from the federal level. It's up to y'all. So my question is this to anybody that can answer it, and definitely to Joe Biden. If there's no federal solution, then why talk about federal mandates? Does it make any sense? If you cannot solve it from the federal level, then why try to solve it? Let us do it on a state level. That should have been the whole thing from the beginning. I mean, it's so dumb. And really, this is an obvious solution because, quite frankly, there is no solution. It's a virus. All you can do is just, if the vax is wanted by people, make it available. I don't want it, but if you do, that's fine. Make it available. That's it. That's all you can do. You know, have staff available in the hospital. And, you know, if I were a governor or a mayor or something like that, I'd be like, look, if you weigh a lot, if you're the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, a baby grand piano, one of the little anvils from the Wile E. Coyote cartoons, if you weigh that much, how about losing some weight? Let's do group calisthenics and shed this fat. If you eat 3, 4, 5, 8 times a day, how about not doing that so much? Because we know who it's targeting. I would just give common sense approaches to try and make people become more healthy. And I will also recommend some therapeutics that we all know work, rather than just saying vax, 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 vax. Rather than just being a mouthpiece for the pharmaceutical industry, I'll recommend things that I know work. The main thing being diet and exercise. Simple things that are free. Simple. And you should do that anyway for your regular health, aside from not wanting to catch the bug and get deleted. Okay, but anyway, I'll move on. Thank you to Joe Ryder 84 who says, do you know about Justin Williams and Randy Moss's friendship? That's a good question. Yeah, so Randy grew up in Rand, of course, West Virginia. Justin Williams grew up in DuPont City, which is like right down the street. It's the same area, basically. DuPont City, Rand, it's the same thing. And they went to the same school, DuPont High School, back in the day. And it was a show because they were on the same basketball team. So Jason was a point guard. Randy was like a forward or a guard or whatever. It was like watching Kobe and Shaq back in the day. It was crazy. So they go all the way back to West Virginia. And they were going to go to Florida together, but Randy got in trouble. So Randy went to Marshall instead of Florida. But yeah, they were always friends throughout. That's why when I saw that special they had on ESPN, they ain't talk about Jason Williams at all. It's like that's part of the whole story. Jason Williams, they both went pro. Jason went to the NBA, played for Sacramento Kings. They call him White Chocolate. And Randy went to the Vikings in the NFL. So why not show both? I don't know. But Randy was a good basketball player too, an excellent basketball player. But on the football field, he was unstoppable. You couldn't do nothing with him on the football field. Okay. So yeah, shout out to Randy and Jason. Also, Randy's brother, Eric, was a football player. He went to the league but didn't play much. He was a 300-pound guy, like a lineman. So shout out to Randy, Eric, Jason, all of them. Also, shout out to Bo versus Windshield, who says, so who is running the CDC now? Delta, Teachers Union, Big Pharma. Fauci has been a bureaucrat for 40 years. Who is running the show? Whoever got the money, whoever got the bag. DC is a bunch of cliques. It's cliquey. You know, I've been in DC a lot. It's cliquey. Everybody know each other. Even in some things that I get involved in, like just, speaking and going to events is like that in DC. It's all about who you know. So if you're playing golf with the CEO of Delta, and when you go to Atlanta or when you go to DC, hey Fauci, what's going on, man? Hey, the quarantine is killing us. That's how things happen. It's not even about the president. The president is a figurehead. That's why they ain't like Trump, because Trump was an actual leader, actually using his power to lead. Joe Biden is not leading. Kamala Harris is not leading. They're being told what to do by the staff, by those that work, by the employees, basically. They're figureheads. That's how that goes. So when they talk about Trump golfing so much, that's what they all do. They all golf like that. That's how deals are made. That's how things operate in DC. Thank you to Effort Ranger Xbox, who says Fauci used black orphans testing experimental AIDS drugs. Some died. That's crazy. Totally crazy. Aaron Bethay says, if I recall correctly, Maxwell was moved around. Someone wanted to keep her alive for a reason. Some high value targets need to be kept safe, meaning we still have good folks in law enforcement and government. There you go. Right on. Bo versus Windshield says Fauci is quoting DeSantis. We can't just shut down the entire economy. DeSantis should give a news briefing thanking Fauci for following his lead. Exactly. You know what? I've said that before as well about Fauci. Fauci is in a good position because he's like the governor's governor. He's leading from his position. He is probably the most powerful guy in government because other governors follow him and do what he does. Even Fauci is saying it, and the CEO of Delta, everybody else, they're all saying what he's saying. Thank you to Josh Foss, who says, hey, ABL, what do you think about your boy Anderson Cooper suggesting holding out on Social Security until you get the Fauci ouchie? That's crazy. I mean, totally crazy. An entitlement you can't get because of a new rule. Is that even something that should be like that shouldn't be legal at all? You create a brand new rule, and if you don't follow it, you get your entitlement removed. That's crazy. You pay into the system as well. It's like saying I can't get my pension because I don't follow a brand new rule you set up. It's like, nah, I paid into my retirement. I did my time. The whole thing about this Fauci ouchie is something new. You can't introduce that now after the fact I already did it. That was not the original agreement. You can't do that. But they're so desperate for this vax. I don't understand why they're so desperate, because does it work that well? If it does, I can't tell. The NBA, they're like 95% vax, but yet there's a whole virus outbreak in the NBA. How does that really work? It's stupid. Joe Ryder 84 says, ABL, give us your thoughts on Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan. I don't see him as a conservative type of commentator, really. I see him as just a guy, like just a podcast host who has pretty good takes most of the time. So yeah, I like Joe Rogan. Shout out to him. 100%. Bud123 says, crazy bail reform story out of Houston. Suspects out on bond have killed more than 150 people in Harris County. What's your point? Quote, Fox 26 Houston. That's crazy. I mean, but that's what happens because they get arrested for a reason. It's not just for no reason. Like, you don't get arrested just for nothing. If you jab across the street, if you litter on the ground, you're not really getting arrested. If you get arrested, you did something, or you are a suspect in a crime. And a lot of times it's the same guys that get arrested over and over and over again. They get bail or it's no bail. They back to the street doing what they do because they always get arrested. It's easy to see a pattern. If you get a guy arrested who's been arrested like 80 times before and you let him out with no bail, he's going to recidivize. He's done it 80 times before. There's a pattern there. Why do that? It's the dumbest thing in the world, but people are dumb sometimes. The anti-view says, riddle me this. It is illegal in my state to refuse a positive patient back to the nursing home, yet it is illegal to have a positive staff working. It's kind of confusing. It's kind of crazy. Buff versus Windshield says, those two ASU racists are showing their true colors. Also, the anti-view says, I bet those two girls would be less angry without student loans. Yeah, I think the reality of that has not quite hit them yet. When they graduate and they got to pay it, and it's like, hey, man, you can't just skip these payments. You go pay. Then it'll become really real. I think it's a John Ray who says, I really hope those two girls see your commentary and get a look at what people think of their pathetic display. Hopefully so. That's what I hope. Because they're young, they might be able to change their ways, but right now they're acting crazy. And I think the main thing here is that you have first world problems. These little girls talking about somebody had on a Bass Pro Shop hat and a Chick-fil-A cup, therefore that's racist and violence. Come on. The dumbest thing in the world. Anyway, Buff versus Windshield says, ASU should have made those two racists right. Quote, the police are people too, unquote, 10,000 times on the whiteboard. Like Bart Simpson. It's about right for the mentality. Exactly. Real childish stuff too. Right? That's the whole thing right there. All right, hold on. Let me go back to where I was. Give me 1 second. And if you like what you're hearing thus far, go ahead and get the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Thank you to Bryn Grimerson who says, insider trading is a crime. Hashtag audit Congress. Let's go, Brandon. Thank you to Lisa for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you to AJFR who says, appreciate everything you do. ABL 2022 will be the year you hit 1 million subs. I pray for many more years of ABL live. Oh, yeah. It's going to be crazy next year. I'm just getting ready for it. It's going to be a wild year, but I'm here for it. And thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate your support. Thank you to Texas Sweet Tea who says, ABL, are you a Morgan Wallen fan? That's my guy. I don't know who that is really. I think I heard about him a little bit, but I don't know who that is. Is he a country guy like in Nashville? I don't really know. I'm kind of out of the loop. Thank you to Viva for the hype emoji. Thank you to David who says, thank you, ABL, for your work. Appreciate you. God bless. Thank you for that. And thank you to Whitney V for your emoji donation. You're number one. I appreciate you for that one. All righty. We got calls on deck. You guys on the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's see if Skype acts right. If it doesn't act right, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man because I don't take responsibility for it. If you want to get in through the video, there is an email in the description box. You could be right here on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. But the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's F&A Ranger Xbox.
All righty, man. What's going on?
How you doing, buddy? What I was referring to during my super chat was Kennedy wrote a book involving Dr. Fauci talking about using New York City orphans that were black for experimental AIDS drugs. Some of them didn't survive.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, I've been saying he's a little rat weasel, expletive, foul word, blah, 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 for a long time because I'm 61 years old. I quit drinking 33 years ago. I don't take – my doctor when I was 46 years old goes, your cholesterol levels getting kind of near borderline close to being – at the bottom of the scale where you need to start taking medication. And I look at him and say, well, why don't we wait until I hit the scale and then I'll start taking the medication. Well, that was almost 20 years ago. Guess what? Your brain needs cholesterol. A lot of people don't know that's what your brain needs to function, cholesterol. There's good cholesterol, there's bad cholesterol. but they keep lowering the standard to get you on that medication. And the reason why I'm so resistant is my dad. Looking at my dad, I'm like, what the heck is all these pill bottles? Oh, that's my medication. This is for my blood thinners. This is for this. This is for that. This is because of this, that. I'm like, oh my God. And then one day, you know, the lights were on, but nobody was home. You know, and the hell with it. I just soon, excuse my language, I just soon die natural. Call it COVID, whatever. Like I'm going to care. But getting on this trans thing and homosexuality, I ain't got nothing against them. What they want to do is their business. It ain't my business. But if you cannot accept yourself as you are, who are you to demand that I accept you for something that you're not? I mean,
it's a good question.
I've been using the joke. Oh, go ahead.
It's a good question.
Well, you know, I have questions, and since the 70s, I'm a smart aleck by nature, which is better than being a dumb butt. You know what I mean? So anyway, I've been saying for decades that I was a lesbian trapped in a man's body. Bruce Jenner is living my joke, literally, because he said one day, he said, I'm a lesbian. How could you be a lesbian with man parts? Just because you got some silicone added, you still got man parts.
That's right.
These people are so... My God, America's gotten so stupid. I mean, like those two young ladies, my God, they're so delusional. I had a Jamaican friend who's darker than you down in Florida, and he had like a 26-foot boat, and I had a 19-foot boat. And whenever we wanted to go bass fishing, we'd take my boat, or in the intercoastal. Whenever we wanted to go out in the Atlantic, we'd take his boat. And I'm sure he'd be happy as hell to be sporting a Bass Pro Shop hat.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, everybody goes. It's not a race specific thing to go fishing. I mean, come on.
I know lots of people, Puerto Rican, black, Cuban, down in Florida. You know, they all love to eat fish because they're all from the Caribbean islands. You know, it's crazy.
That's right.
But there was one more thing. Oh, I know what it was. The cruise ships. You can't get on a cruise ship unless you're max vaxxed and tested and everything else. And they're out to sea and they're having massive COVID outbreaks on the ships with everybody vaxxed, max, tested and everything else. So how are they going to blame that on me for not being vaccinated? But I've already had COVID, so I got natural immunity.
Right. It makes no sense. Like, it's just doing things just because they think it sounds good or makes people feel good, but it's not really based in science at all. It's like the whole thing about, oh, let's cut the quarantine time down from 10 days to 5 days. Why? Oh, because the Delta's CEO kind of suggested it. Therefore, we're going to do something similar to that. It's like, come on, let's stop playing games.
Always follow the money whenever you want to know the truth when it comes to politicians and corporations.
That's right.
Always follow the money. Well, that's basically all I got for you tonight. I don't want to waste a lot of time because you got a lot of good people out there. I want to listen to them. Love your show. God bless. We're going to have a great year. It's coming.
Absolutely, man. Brian, thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Take care, ABL.
I know.
Love you.
All right. Shout out to my man, FNA Ranger Xbox, for the call. And thank you all for being here. Definitely couldn't do it without you guys. Let's go to the next caller here. 714, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. Let me turn you down. I don't want to make any feedback. Oh my God. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Oh, it's all great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm a military veteran. I've been listening to you actually since I got out. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
I'm living in New Mexico. The problem that I see in America is that people are not understanding the left-right paradigm. And when I say the left-right paradigm, I mean people are imagining that the lefties are bad, and people on the left are imagining that people on the right are bad. It's like there's this craziness going on, and they're trying to make Americans fight each other when it's really the government that is taxing us beyond, like way beyond anything that makes sense. And there's no love. Quite literally, Elon Musk is trying to make a Mars community, but our own country is more upset about who should we tax. Oh, we're not taxing them enough. But they never give a tax return. We never see where that money goes. They just take. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm with you.
Well, how can, the thing is the people that come and try to account on us, we need their accounting first, I think. I think we need to see where the money goes as far as the taxes before they ever send somebody out to come and mess with us. I mean, that's my personal opinion. It's not happening to me right now, but you know what I mean?
I got you. I think everybody should be accountable to their constituents.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the constituents are nationwide. I mean, it's all of us. We all have to pay a tax. Every time you go get a Snickers bar or put some gas in your car, Nancy Pelosi can go and buy like 10 ice creams for her freezer. I mean, these people, oh, man, I'm just saying, I don't endorse violence. I'm a veteran. I'm just saying that what they're doing, and they're calling the January 6th stuff like whatever. It's like, I don't know. Our country, I've never seen our country do this to people. All of us. They don't care what color you are. They just want to subjugate you. They want to make us fight each other. They want to make us hate each other. And it's not fair to us. We don't need to fight it, but we need to figure out what we can do about it. There's somewhere we can change this. We can fix this and change this, but it's going to take everybody. And we can't talk on channels where they can hear us. You know?
I got you, man. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
God bless. Love you.
All right, shout out to the caller, and thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Couldn't do it without you. Let's get to some more. Let's go to 903. You don't line who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is I go by Songbox on YouTube and Twitch. How's it going, ABL?
Everything's all right. How about yourself?
Hey, any better? I wouldn't be able to stand it. I just wanted to get in and say thanks for all that you do. And Seb, I've been watching you for a number of years. First time I tried to call, but I've seen a number of your live streams. Back in the day, I remember you were talking about how, man, you were like in a mall kiosk, like running stuff in a mall kiosk. Is that correct?
A mall kiosk? No.
No, you had gotten your start running political ads for somebody at a mall kiosk. Man, maybe I got my lines crossed. Well, the point was, I had a question to ask you about the coverage lately in Texas, because I'm a Texas resident, with all of going on with the border and with all of the tax dollars being given to the migrant families coming across.
Yeah.
And it's just wanted to understand, like, I don't really understand how, like, the families who were coming across, they were talking about giving them $450,000 per family that was coming across. Like, it was crazy to hear that. And then you come across, like, you driving on Interstate 45, which is the interstate that runs north and south through Texas. And it's like, you see billboards, like people actually taking out billboards and buying sign space saying, stop giving our money to illegals. And it's like, you drive to work and you drive to home and you do your normal thing. And it's like, nothing makes sense. It's like you see it on the radio, you see it on the billboard ads. Of course, you got to vote and make a difference that way. But like, what else can you do? It doesn't really seem to make sense. You know what I mean?
what as far as like being able to express your grievance about the tax money going to the wrong place? Is that your general question?
Well, no, it's man, honestly, it's just I've never called into one of these places before, and I was just trying to get an opportunity to really get a voice in with you and say, hey, tell you that I was a Texas resident, try to intellectually form some words about some thoughts and feelings that I had always thought about bringing up to you. But to tell you the truth, I just kind of saw you and heard your voice, and I just brain farted all of my thoughts and tried to spit them back at you. So anyway, I guess I should say thanks for what you're doing. I appreciate you. And I'll open up your line for your next caller.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Talk to you later, ABL.
All righty. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, I'm not really sure where that came from, the mall kiosk. I've never done that before. I've never been inside the mall working. What I did when I first started was I was doing club flyers and things. I started doing flyers and I was doing websites because I was my thing was graphic design. That's what I started doing. I still design my merch and my website and everything right now. But what I first started doing was flyers, like way back in the day. I started my own business like in 06, 07. That's when I was really so. I've been self-employed for 15 years, coming up in March. Long time. Trying to get to 20 years, 30 years, and keep on going like that. So let's go to the next one here. 617 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Jenna in West Virginia.
All righty. What's going on?
So I just have an interesting one for you. So Chicago, apparently it's not bad enough. I don't know. Did you hear about the lady that is on the city council, and her recommendation is to blow a whistle at somebody with a gun and run at them blowing a whistle?
So wait a minute. Run at them with the whistle?
Yeah. So hopefully I can read a little bit better than the girls at ASU. However, it says, see a robbery. This is from the article that I think it was just posted today. See a robbery happening. This alderman wants you to run towards the offenders while blowing a whistle. I guess her name is Michelle Smith. And she said, how about this? How about running towards a robbery while blowing a whistle to attract attention? And that's what Lincoln Park Alderman Michelle Smith hopes her constituents will do. So I thought that you would get a good giggle out of that one.
That is crazy because that whistle is going to get blown to smithereens. Somebody got a gun on you with a whistle. Oh, nah. I mean, that's the worst thing because now you're making it hot. It's like, look, okay, if you got a robbery and they got the gun on you, go ahead and give it up. A whistle? Now you fumbling with the whistle, you making noise. They might shoot you just because of the whistle. That's terrible advice. I don't know. But you know what? A lot of these people, they live in kind of the nice area of Chicago where you don't have a lot of crime and violence. So they don't even understand what they're talking about. They just say things just because in their mind it makes sense. Like they may be able to chase off their next door neighbor from, letting their dog go do in their yard with a whistle, but not a guy with a gun. It's crazy.
So she even names the program, I guess, and she sent out an email on December 22nd. She calls it the Whistle Stop Program. And she said the Whistle Stop Program follows these rules. If you find yourself in a suspicious situation or witness a crime, blow your whistle. If you hear a whistle, call the police. And then move toward the source while blowing your own whistle. So apparently this is like community. Everybody has to. Are they issuing the whistles? I don't really know what's going on here, but it sounds like a bad idea.
Everybody getting shot for that. You want to, okay, so you have one whistle for the person about to get shot or robbed, right? They got to blow their whistle. And then you got to hear it and like respond to a bat signal in the sky. So you go towards it and blow your whistle. Everybody getting shot because you identifying where you are. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. It's a whole program with a name. That's crazy.
Yeah. Chicago's got problems. I just thought you'd find that amusing. Have a great night.
Thank you for the call.
Bye.
Ain't no way. A whistle. It's like, hey, shoot me. I'm right here. The dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. That's why a program like, and you getting paid to do that. That's totally crazy. If you want to stop violence, hand out some guns to regular citizens. How about that? And let everybody get trained and not know how to shoot their guns. Matter of fact, get that guy Detroit Dust on the horn. The self-defense guy, get him on the horn. He's not blowing no whistle. He's cracking your thumb open to get you off him. All righty, let's go to the next one. Let's go to 615. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Joe around Nashville. Hey, since we're talking about Dr. Anthony Fauci, did you know he is the highest paid government employee? You know, he seems to have a lot of say in just about everything. And you got to think about it. He's not elected. In a democracy, we elect our leaders to represent us. You know, you get what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. See, the thing about it is he should not be a leader. He should be like an employee. You know, it's like having the guy that runs the print department all of a sudden create policy. It's like, no, that's not how it's supposed to go. You work in the print department. Your job is to go over there and make sure all the paper is printed properly. Anthony Fauci, your job is to make sure that we do disease research and stuff like that. You shouldn't be on TV directing government policy, but he is.
I know that's the thing about it is, you know, it's like all the other like corrupt political cronies like the Pelosi's and the Mitch McConnells and the so on and so forth. It's like, you know, it's like what we got away from in England, and you know, we tried to get away from all that aristocrat, and it seems like it kind of followed us around in this democracy. That's why I'm in favor for term limits, just downright the board, just term limits for everybody. You get 2 terms, nothing more than that. After that, nothing. You go on with your life. You know, that I've been discussing that with a lot of people lately, and I mean, on both sides. I mean, everybody can agree on that. It's you know, we got more in common than we don't. It's just we're allowing the media and we're allowing a lot of these other people with their own emotions taking over. That's where I'm. This is from what I'm seeing.
I mean, I agree definitely, because I mean, he's been there since the 80s. It's like, come on. Like, he's been there as long as I've been alive. It's like, I'm almost 40 here. I got gray hair in my beard. He shouldn't be in there that long. This is crazy. If he was an actual person, he could be a pawpaw by now. That's too much.
Oh, yeah, I understand it, man. I could go all day about it. And you know, we're getting to a time period now. I'll make this last thought that, you know, since we're seeing all our, you know, our conservative leaders this year dying, you know, from, I'll say from Rush Limbaugh all the way to, you know, the late David Curl. It seems like now our generation has to step it up. We need to get out from our parents' basements, just get rid of all our, you know, whatever it is, but to better ourselves. And we need to stop, you know, being victims, you know, of some sort. You know, that's why we need to start going. But I'll put it out like that. I'll let other callers you know, get on ahead. I know how you are, ABL. You know, we want to you know, have everybody's thoughts and opinions here.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right.
Shout out to the caller. Great call. But yeah, definitely term limits for sure. Because Fauci, okay, I was reading that Fauci is going to get a retirement package, and guess how much he's going to get paid per year for retirement? $350,000. $350,000 a year for retirement. Imagine that. For retirement. And you know how it is in DC. That's like your base pay. Working in DC is like being a waitress in the restaurant. You get your base pay from the restaurant, but you get paid much more than that in other monies. If you're a waitress, waiter, whatever, wait staff, you get tips, right? That's like, okay, I pay for my dinner. It was $50. I'll give you $20 on top of that for your tip. Here go your $20 for your tip. So you get paid your base pay plus a $20 tip for a table, and so on and so forth. It accumulates for each table. But if you're in government, you get paid other kind of ways, speaking engagements, books, all types of stuff, being on TV, appearances, all types of stuff. How you have Nancy Pelosi worth millions of dollars, the Obamas millions of dollars. His base pay was like $400,000. How was he worth multiple millions of dollars as a politician? Because you get tips in other kind of ways in DC. So your base pay retired is $350,000 plus whatever else. He's worth multiple millions. For doing what though? For doing what? Flip-flopping, lying, carrying on, going on TV, doing interviews. Basically, yeah. That's kind of what it is. Yep. Let's keep on moving. 425, hit online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Paul.
All right, what's going on?
Wow, I can't believe you picked up. I love your program's awesome. I love your voice. So I just wanted to say something about along the line of the discussion. It's kind of weird because you're on and then I'm talking to you. There's a delay.
Oh, you're good, but don't watch the stream because there is a delay on the stream. Just talk to me on the phone.
Yeah, I have you unmuted.
Okay.
So the thing I wanted to talk about is about Trump. I think that it's astonishing that Trump came into office, and if you do a Google search real quick, you see the list of accomplishments. And I don't want to bore everybody with the whole list, but I mean, America gained 7 million new jobs, 3 times the government's estimate. The list goes on. The family income rose by 6,000 more than ever in recorded history. Unemployment rate reached 3.5%, lowest in a half century. And the list goes on and on. But I think I'm trying to echo what somebody else was saying, another caller was saying, is that and about these 2 girls who are trying to destroy these people, and they got busted for it. And also the caller from, I think it was New Mexico or Arizona, it's like they're trying to pit us against each other, and I'm trying to encompass the whole thought is that Trump had brought this whole agenda that he was saying, hey, I'm going to get paid $1 or something a year, and I'm going to do all these great things for America. And then he did them. And I think the political forces particularly in Washington, D.C., I think they freaked out because they were like, oh my God, this guy actually is getting things done. They're like, we don't need that. And and Americans are happy or they're working. I know it sounds insidious, but it almost seems like they need things to be bad to justify their existence,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because if things are good and they're not needed, then they're not needed. So they have no purpose and they can't continue to generate money and, justify their existence.
Yeah, the other one too that I still am baffled by, and I agree with the other guys. We're all Americans first. We really should be, this dividing us on left, right, color. It's ridiculous. The thing also is, I was a pretty good student in school. They passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. That was over that was in 1888 or something. It's been over 100 and something years, and there's been some problems in between, but I've never seen the opportunity for particularly blacks in America, African Americans, so great, so huge. And then to see the Democrat Party do what they've done in the last 2 years, like the example of these 2 girls at the school, I'm baffled by it also that,
Yeah, but people, they tend to ignore how good they have it. Just like what I was saying in my video, I was like, when there's no problems, you got to create problems. And that's how you could say, okay, now I got an issue. I got a chip on my shoulder. To have excitement, to have fun, to get attention. There's not actually a real issue, but you create it. That's what happens when things are going good. People make things bad. That's like that meme that may be floating around, when the good times create, weak people and so on and so forth. You're so weak, any little transgression becomes a problem when it's not really a problem. And then you're so weak, you're not prepared for things to actually get bad. And when things get bad, you're going to totally fall apart.
Yeah, but I think, and you just reminded me what my point was, is that it's almost as though the Democrats are having this absolute meltdown in their ability to, because they see their base, as an example, blacks, African Americans, they see these people as a group, they're doing better. They're moving into the suburbs. They're buying houses. They're getting jobs. And they're like, uh-oh, I mean, we needed these people to be in a certain place.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they're trying to like reverse that, reverse the success of people. It's kind of a shocking thing to see, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that. And then if you look at the support, like in Seattle, and you look in San Francisco, where they're allowing all this homeless and drugs and break-ins and right. It's almost like they're trying to reverse create. And I don't understand how that's going to win people's hearts, and minds over to like make everything a mess. I don't know.
Well, I hear you. I do.
And so, anyways, I'll let someone else talk. But I love your voice. Listen to it as much as I can, and I agree. 2022. I hope you'll be around much longer than that, and definitely I'll keep listening. So,
thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you.
Channel, dude.
All right, shout out to the caller. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for calling in. Made a lot of sense. Yeah, they're trying to. I see where you're coming from about making things bad, so you're needed. And San Fran is like that, really, because, well, here's one part that I could have mentioned that I didn't mention. In San Francisco, a lot of these NGOs, non-governmental organizations, and the city itself, they make money off of the poverty. See, they tax the rich to get their money, or those that make a lot of money, not necessarily the rich. You can make 6 figures in San Francisco and kind of be living like a regular person with roommates and everything else, trying to make ends meet because it's so expensive. I heard that the cheapest house to buy in San Fran is like $1 million. The cheapest house in San Fran proper, $1 million. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think I am. Like even some of the rundown spots, like there was a house on Hoarders. If you ever watched that show, the house was destroyed, top to bottom. But if they were to fix it up and sell it, easily $1 million. Easily. When I say destroyed, I'm talking about it was so bad, the floors were caving in on the upper floors, and the outside of the home, the siding was coming off. Like if it was a rain, water would go inside the house. But if you fix it up, probably tear it down and just start over again. But that'd be $1 million house easy in San Fran. Probably $1 million plus, maybe 1.5. So, they tax the people that have money, and they also take money from the city to give to themselves as far as NGOs and things of that nature, to build some of these little shelters for the homeless, to give them money, to give them resources and things, because they take money on top. That's the whole thing. That's how it goes. Doja Funk says, yeah, 1 million, 1 bed, 1 bath. Crazy. Crazy. I can't do it. I'm out here in Tennessee where you could live high on the hog for a little bit of money. 410, you're not lying. Who am I speaking to?
Holy moly. Hi, Anthony?
Yes.
Holy crap. I can't believe hey man, I just wanted to, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm sorry. So I guess what I wanted to ask you was, well, can I be honest with you and ask you something off topic, I guess, regarding more like Black Republicans or the Black community?
Go for it. Yeah.
Do you think that people like yourself, I mean, like, I think you guys are doing great, but do you think y'all are doing enough for the Black community to convince them to turn over, or like to think differently, or even think about, I don't know, have a different opinion, I guess.
You say, are we doing enough?
Where I'm sorry, because I honestly didn't even think that you would pick up the phone call. I'm just a little starstruck. Because where I'm from, I'm from Maryland, and I've never heard someone such as yourself that has such an opinion or thinks such a different way. And I've lived here like 30 years in this state. I'm from India, actually, and I've never really heard anything like what you preach, and it's very new to hear something like that. So I'm just wondering, when I go into Baltimore, that's where I live close to, I see a lot of I'll go around the inner harbor and I'll cross the Israelites, and they ask people to kiss their shoes. And there are viral videos that are pretty recent that you see them asking people to kiss their shoes, and they blame different people of different nationalities or whatnot. And I'm just wondering, because I don't see that around. I'm just very surprised to see people like you and Brandon Tatum and people like that. And you're from Virginia. I'm from Maryland. It's not very far. So I'm just wondering, like, I'm very surprised, I guess. Do you think things will change around here? I guess that's a better question.
Well, in Baltimore, no. Like the problem with Maryland, in general, and definitely Baltimore, is because of the leadership, the lack of economy, and it's not really a money thing necessarily, but at the same time it is, because Maryland, as you know, is a rich state. It's not a poor state, and a lot of that is because of DC metro area. There's a lot of money in the state, but the problem with Baltimore is the drugs, lack of industry, things of that nature, and that is not going to change until those people just get off the drugs and you bring industry back, or they go somewhere where there is industry and not just standing in these boarded up abandoned townhomes in East and West Baltimore. Now, if you're living in Howard County or somewhere like that, it's much better. But out in Baltimore general, that's not going to change anytime soon. And as far as what I can do, all that I can do is what I am doing, because you can't necessarily go into a place like that and make them change. You had Kim Klacik. Kim Klacik was running for, I think it was a national House seat out there in Baltimore as a Black Republican, and she didn't come close because it's Baltimore. She had like 25% of the vote.
Lady that did the ad where she was walking through Baltimore and she was showing the reality of it.
Yeah.
Was that okay? Yeah, because I mean, like I grew up with the Black friends that I grew up around here. And I grew up in Howard County actually. I didn't grow up in Baltimore. I feel like I grew up in an area where Howard County I feel like is changing actually. There is a lot of crime around here, and I feel like a lot of it is bleeding out of the out of the city. Of
course.
And it's the same thing I saw back when I was growing up. I mean, I think that I just don't. I know nothing will change in the city, but I mean, like, I guess my question is, I don't know. Do you think if it's kind of like what Steven Crowder does? I guess that's my real question. Like, you know how he does that Change My Mind segment? Like, do you think that you or Brandon Tatum will go into those kind of areas and or someone like that would try something like that, or would it be too dangerous? Because I don't know. Or would
I don't see the purpose, because like I was just saying, Kim Klacik tried it. She was actually out there in the streets, talking to people, and she didn't have any more success than the last person that tried it. So it's like, what's the point? It don't make no sense. Like, if people want to, you can't, if you're in a place like Baltimore, you can't convince them to change. All you can do is be available, like, online, so anybody could just, everybody has a phone. Everybody wants to go on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. If you want to find us, you can find us. We're available for you 24/7 on your mobile device, on your computer, or whatever. Going to a place like that is a waste of time, because you're trying to convince people that don't really want to be convinced. They got to come to you. That's how that works. It's not going to work any other way. It never happens like that anywhere in the nation. There's no case you can point to of that actually, of somebody trying that and it working. It doesn't work.
So are people in that city pretty much just done then? I mean, like, if it's also bleeding into Howard County, which is really what's going on, it's like a lot of catalytic converters, a lot of robberies, a lot of murders. I mean, like, I don't think Howard County's ever seen anything like this. We like to boast about, safest county in the States or something like that. And it's really not the reality anymore. Do you think that, this is also I think Ben Shapiro said that this is also one of the 5 states that are, a lot of people are, vacating from, they're leaving, Do you think this is a good time to leave the state, or? My final question, I'm sorry. Like, do you think nothing will change here? Because I know this is a very democratic state. I don't, I would like your opinion on that. I'm sorry.
I mean, if you're in the blue state, you're in the blue state, and you're going to get what comes to the blue state. You're going to get the crime and the violence because they're not putting Baltimore in check. They're letting these criminals just roam free. Like I was saying before about the person that had been arrested like 25 times. No, pardon me, they'd been arrested 80 times by the age of 25. That was somebody in Baltimore. So you get people that get arrested.
Who was arrested 80 times?
I forget the person's name, but this is during Freddie Gray, because you had guys that were getting arrested over and over again. The point is that there's not much in the way of prosecution and locking guys up that should be locked up. So you got the same guys committing the same crimes over and over again. They let the drugs just pretty much roam free. They don't clean up. You got trash everywhere, garbage everywhere. It's just a mess. And once you have that kind of environment, you're going to get criminals that are created from their environment, and they're going to spread out to other parts of the state. That's just how it's going to be. And until you can fix that, you're not really going to get anywhere. It's just not going to change. It's going to be the same. You're going to see the same exact thing. The only thing that's going to change is that it gets gentrified, and people that live there now leave. People that live there now that want to change, they'll figure out a way to change, and they'll leave, and they'll go somewhere else and do something. They might join the military. They might become a police officer or whatever the case. But those who don't want to change, they might mess around and be dead by the time they turn 21, or be on drugs, or just be a general bum.
Well, wow. Thanks, Anthony. I can't believe you answered the phone call. You're awesome. I want you to know that.
Well, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. Baltimore gonna be Baltimore. It ain't really gonna change no time soon. If you want to change, then you can change. That's why I say I'm available on your mobile device 24/7. You want to search for some conservative people, you want to find a black conservative or whatever, find me. I'm right on your mobile device. It's all good. And you can hear my point of view and get a different perspective than what you're used to. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
What's going on? I was just laughing because the caller asked you to go set up some Change Our Mind stands in Baltimore and see if that's going to change people's minds. Now, he said he's from India, and India and Pakistan have been fighting over Kashmir. So would it be logical for him to go to Pakistan and set up some Change Our Mind stands? Like I say this because people got to start thinking before they ask questions, man. I mean, they come up with these solutions that's just unrealistic. And like I said, if this guy's more on the right, man, we can't be thinking so simplistic and basic. Liberals are thinking far ahead of us. Liberals are planting seeds. They infiltrated our educational system, all of our major institutions, implementing this liberal nonsense. This is why transgenders are competing in the leagues now. It's because this is a slow grind, and we're still just like, we're on some, well, let's go debate people. I mean, come on, man. I'm just saying, this is why I feel like this is why liberals always have a leg up on us. It's because they're always thinking ahead, and we're still just clueless on what's going on, why things the way they are, and then our solutions are trivial, man. And the other thing I want to talk about is that video you made about those black girls, getting punished for harassing those white boys who had the Blue Lives Matter. And this is the thing, man. Liberals are really, they really got black people's minds twisted, and I blame us as well for going along with it. But my thing is, if these black kids want a safe space, why would they go to an HBCU? You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to colleges that's probably predominantly white, and then you're like, oh, we need a safe space. Oh, these white microaggressions. Okay, why don't you go to an HBCU where it's probably the majority black people, and you don't have to worry about it? Because the thing is, a lot of times, man, I'll tell you, a lot of black liberals, they just want white love. They want the white man to give them a hug and tell them how beautiful they are and tell them how nice their hair looks. So and also they do believe that the white man's ice is colder. As much as they bash white people all day and talk about microaggressions, they will want to infiltrate whatever white institution, white media outlet there is, and say nonsense like, well, why aren't there any black actors in Game of Thrones? Knowing that it's based on a European setting, they whine and complain about that and call that racist, but then want a safe space. So it makes no sense. But what this does to black people is it has us focus on dumb things that doesn't change anything. This is why Baltimore never changes. No, this is one of the reasons why, the last class talk about Baltimore. It's because we have a media system and a political class that really infiltrated the black mind. It got us focused on dumb things. Like, I'm serious, man. It's like, if I swear, man, we will never talk about any black on black crime issues. We're never going to talk about any black social economical issues unless the white liberals just fed up and say, okay, now we want to really do something for black people who keep voting for us. Now let's finally talk about the issues. So, a lot of our people, it's just sad, man. The talk of this white supremacy all day, but then you take your marching orders, you get your talking point from the same people who you call supreme over you, and there's mostly white liberals, and then you take it to your own race and bash them overhead with white liberal ideology while putting some type of black ridiculous spin on it. This is why we got a lot of black feminists writing ridiculous articles about straight black men. I mean, these are conversations that were never had prior to integration. Now, yeah, man, this is just first world problems. Yeah, man, that's all I want to say, man. Black people are just very distracted. We are very misled, and we act like we're woke, but it's all fake. It's all a fake. It's a front. That's all I gotta say, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Great call. Fantastic. Shout out to him for that. All right, let's go to the next one here. And you guys are the best. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. 409, you're online, my speaker two.
This is Mike.
All right, Mike, turn your stream down for me.
What's going on, ABL?
Turn your stream down for me, please, in the background.
I had you on speakerphone. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good, man. What's going on?
And not a whole lot, man. It's good to talk to you, man. I love your show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I don't even know what the topic is. What is it? Dallas, Texas shooter, prank caller, Doxxed. I didn't see anything about that. Yeah, I've called in before, man, and it's been quite a while since I talked to you. But I just wanted to kind of talk about I guess I could talk about whatever, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Within the safe confines of decent language.
There you go. So, right.
Yeah, I got a kind of I feel like I've had a maybe not so much of a unique background, but kind of not the norm. But I grew up pretty much as a white kid at a black school, and I don't know. I remember growing up and experiencing a lot of like I'd have black friends that were pretty smart kids, and pretty much the black kids would
Okay, I don't know what happened. His phone, put some minutes on the phone, and the Obama phone clicked off. It wasn't me. I didn't do it, I promise. All right, let's get to the next one here. Let's go to 570. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Sarah.
All righty. What's going on?
Oh, I'm just listening to your show.
All righty. So what's on your mind?
Well, I think it's great. That caller who called before, he was talking about how these damn it. Sorry. Well, when these people go to different colleges, they're not interested in they're interested in recruiting. They're interested in taking over. It's not Yeah, that is their ultimate agenda.
Okay.
Taking over. So when they're questioning, why are these people doing this? Why are these white students doing that? They're not asking. They're not asking. They're not asking why.
Okay.
They're saying this should be this way. There's racial divides. You people are you're behind the time. It should be this way.
All right. I mean, thank you for the call, caller. But let's not. let's not. I mean, good grief. I mean, it's like I don't want to embarrass nobody on the call, so we'll just move right along. Thank you for the call, 570. But let's not do that. All right, let's go. 202. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Mr. Logan. My name is Joe. I live in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. How are you today, sir?
I'm well. About yourself?
I can't complain. Are you able to hear me okay?
I hear you well.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to ask you a really quick question in summary, and then I'll actually hang up and I'll let you give your response. But basically, I was curious because, I was thinking about myself and my political ideology and how about maybe back in the 1960s or 70s, I would have considered myself a liberal because back in the day, liberals wanted government to get out of things, right? Peace and love, give peace a chance, etc., and allow everybody to thrive on their own. And people don't realize that's back in a time when government ideology based upon the ideology of their constituents was clamoring for things like segregation, et cetera, et cetera. So do you find now, Mr. Logan, that conservative ideology has become the liberalism of the 1960s and 70s? I guess that's why they call it classical liberalism. And I guess that's really my only question. I'd love to hear your response to it, and I'll get off the line because I would like to hear your response, and I know you have other calls online. So I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and thank you for taking my call, sir.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. Okay, that's a good question. I'm not sure that we've become the 60s liberals because they were also into that free love, all that kind of stuff like that. So I'm not sure we're that. I think we've taken some of what they were talking about back then and really kind of expanding on it in a more sensible way. Because I think somewhere their thing was, let's be able to snort, all these drugs we want and do pretty much whatever. A limited government, yes, but not necessarily for the correct reasons. We want to have some order in society, but at the same time, we don't want to have this authoritarian government on our back. We want to be able to have basic rules, and we want more freedom to do the correct thing. We don't want freedom to do the wrong thing, if that makes any sense. So I see where you're coming from that perspective. I think that liberals have definitely changed. They want more authoritarianism, but at the same time, they want freedom. It's weird. It's like if you go to Colorado, a lot of liberals up there, they want the drugs to be out in the open, right? You can pretty much smoke weed, smoke crack, heroin, whatever you want. And definitely like in California, they got drugs everywhere and it's a whole big mess. But then when it comes to certain things, they want to be very pro-government. When it comes to the mandates and the lockdowns and whatnot, they want to be very pro-government. But when it comes to drugs and whatnot, they're anti-government. But when it comes to guns, again, they're pro-government again. So they kind of go back and forth. They don't really have any standards. The thing about us on our side, we have standards that we stick to. They don't. They're pro-authoritarian when it benefits them, and they're not when it doesn't, if that makes any sense. Okay. All right, it's Kite Caller. Who am I speaking to?
Greetings, ABL.
All righty. What's happening?
You can hear me all right? I can hear you great. No problems this time. This is Laura the Goddess here from Here's What I Heard. How are you doing?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Did you have a great Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Everything's good. Can't complain at all.
Oh, and I'm not going to get a chance to talk to you before the new year, so Happy New Year to you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for taking my call. Quick question about the Let's Go Brandon movement, if you will. How does Brandon Tatum feel about this quip?
I've not actually asked him about that. That's a good question. But I think he likes it just because of what it represents, but not necessarily about him. I think he likes the whole thing about being anti-Biden.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it kind of hit me today. I was listening to him and it's like, oh yeah, his name is Brandon too. It just, I've been busy myself actually. So in fact, I finally broke down and did it. And of course you were one of my inspirations, but I've got my own call-in talk show now.
Oh, very good.
And
Excellent.
we've been having a lot of fun. And for a beginner, I'm actually very encouraged. I've gotten phone calls for all 4 of my shows so far. So I'm real happy about that.
Well, that's good. You got to start and just keep on going, be consistent, and you'll be able to keep growing.
Yep. It's working. I'm loving it. In fact, I can see why you do this. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
There you go.
But we give people the opportunity that actually can't do all of this technical stuff or don't have time to do all of the graphics and all that other stuff to give other people a voice. And I thought that was wonderful. That's why I wanted to join in on that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to repeat my opinion. We've talked on several times about this, about the transgender people competing against the females. Kudos to the swim coach that resigned over this, because this is an abomination in my opinion. I mean, 38-second lead. Anybody that's ever raced knows that is a lifetime.
Yeah, that's a long time. And
that is like a lifetime in a race.
it becomes discouraging because the women know they can't overcome that because of the physical differences.
Exactly. Well, and it's like I said before, women are going to be the ones that are going to have to put a stop to this. If we just keep accepting it, they're just going to obliterate us. There's no way we can fight this, especially since they all seem to have more rights than any of us, including men too. God forbid you should say anything about it or anything like that. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons why my count isn't going up on YouTube very much. They don't like me because I'm against it. But as a female, I look at it this way, man. I love you. I know that you're going through it, but I absolutely refuse to compete against you, to compete with you, and you will never speak for us.
That's right. Absolutely. That should be. It should be kind of a common sense thing to say, but today common sense ain't too common.
Well, I guess we have to stop calling it that then. Either that or start teaching it more then.
That's right.
And of course, last but not least, I think everyone's heard by now that Madam Maxwell has been convicted on 5 out of 6 counts of the things that she was being charged for. I wonder, is this a thing now when somebody gets charged with 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different things that the jury's going to give them a break on one of them?
I have no idea. I don't really know the particulars of how they were instructed because sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So I have no clue.
Well, this is the second time they've done that for someone like this. It was Jesse before, right? And the jurors actually even admitted, yeah, we were going to give him a break on that one, like it made any difference.
Right. That's funny.
I mean, they still did the thing. What is giving a break? What significance is that going to be? Or is that just what the judicial system, are they slowly trying to get us used to even the big time offenders getting away with everything?
I have no clue. That's a good question, though.
Well, all I can say is, ladies, I'm glad that the ladies were standing up. We're starting to see more and more ladies standing up, but we are the only ones that can stand up against these transgender men that are coming in and just obliterating us and everything.
Right on.
Like I say, love you guys. I'm a human being. You're a human being. I know you're going through it and everything like that, but right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care. Your feelings aren't going to make you what you want to be, or what you think you are. Not to everyone else. You're allowed to do whatever you want. But when you start taking away other people's rights to fulfill your own rights, that's a problem.
Exactly. Well, tell everybody how to get in contact. What's your channel?
Oh, here's what I heard.
Okay, so here's what I heard. That's your channel. Y'all go subscribe to her, check her out. And I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate it. Everybody out there in the chat, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and hope to see you guys on my show soon. I'll be back to yours too soon.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you.
Have a great New Year.
All righty. Shout out to Here's What I Heard on the YouTube. Check her out. And let's go to some more here. You know the drill. The number to call 434-658-1220. There's also the Skype email in the description box below, so you could be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I got quite a few calls on deck, so I'm going to try to get to a few as soon as possible. Let's go to, okay, let's try 937. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
I heard. Oh, just a second, Anthony. I got to mute you.
All righty.
Okay. I got you muted. Anthony, excuse me. This is great to talk to you again. Everything that's been going on is surprisingly weird. Now, excuse me. It's just surprisingly to talk to you. But the crime that goes on in my neighborhood is just unacceptable, and I can't understand how the people around allow the crime to go on. I call the cops all the time, and I got video recordings and so forth that the police get and so forth. They come and get the recordings and so forth. But other people around my community fail to report anything, but they complain about it. And it's the sad part is I see people dying all around me, and I'm serious about this. I've got recordings of dead people. Well, I have recorded and witnessed people all around my house die, and the police department seems to fail.
All right. Thank you for the call, caller. I'm sorry, but I gotta. If I do that to you, please don't be offended. But I'm just helping you out. I promise. I promise I'm helping you out. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. Okay, let's go to some more here. All right, Les, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, how are you?
I'm well. About yourself?
Oh my gosh, good. I've been having such a laugh with these past two callers.
Yeah, get some interesting callers, I say.
What a Wednesday night right before New Year's, right?
Hey, they celebrating real early.
I know. I just wanted to touch on just a few real quick topics. So in regards to what's going on with this whole transgender community, I just think it's funny that the feminists are allowing this. Like, where are they at? I feel like they're sleeping right now, aren't they?
They're sound asleep because this is not really their problem, I guess.
But then, they can't sit there and say, well, we represent women if you're not really and authentically supporting women, right? Representing them.
That's right. If you're gonna do it. Don't be halfway.
Right. I mean, I don't support that group, but I'm just saying, because they always want to sit there and throw shade and, men are evil and I don't know what else, they come out and they say nonsense. But at the same time, well, where are you when, men are trying to dominate women in sports?
Right. Exactly. I mean, that should be a problem. I mean, if you got Michael Phelps trying to come in and dominate a bunch of women, it's like, man, that's unfair. But they keep their mouth shut because I guess trans women are women in their eyes.
Not biology, but I guess, this just goes to show like just really how ignorant people are. I mean, just in my humble, honest opinion, right?
That's right.
I mean, and then just in regards to those students, I believe, what was it, from ASU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was, I thought it was really funny. I like their little, duet and, how they went together and they were just so synchronized and, everything was just flowing so nicely. But, it's really interesting how you have these adults and like you said, they're probably like in their 5th year of college. It's like, well, when you get out in the real world, everyone's going to have a different opinion, different belief system, so it's kind of like, if you think right now it bothers you, well, then what are you going to do when you get out there in the real world?
Exactly. I mean, You should be getting ready for adulthood in college. It should be kind of a transition. And really, sometimes if you go straight from high school to the workforce, ain't no transition. You got to go right to being an adult. So you're 24 years old or 23, whatever. You need to be ready for the world. If you're not, it's going to be terrible.
Oh, correct. And then that's the thing. You can't be pulling these kind of tantrums at the workplace. You'll get fired.
Right away, because you know HR gonna come down and talk to you. They'll be like, okay, we're gonna clear your stuff out of your desk. We're gonna escort you out the building. You be living at your parents' house, so you get to be 40 years old.
Right. I mean, I think it's really funny, with these young adults that they just, they're very naive and they're just so close-minded, but at the same time, it's either stuff that they learn at home or, it's stuff that they're getting unfortunately indoctrinated in schools, So kudos to the left because they really have infiltrated, the public school system. That's if that's that case, right? And then just the last thing, I did hear that Maxwell was convicted. She was found guilty. And for the record, ABL, I'm just saying it. She did not kill herself.
Exactly. Yeah, she did not kill herself. Not at all.
Alrighty then, ABL. I want to wish you and all the viewers right now in the chat Happy New Year. And you all stay safe and God bless. Take care.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, great call from Les. Shout out to her. And thank you all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. 410, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, I'm Kyle.
All right, man. What's going on?
How you doing, man? I have a couple questions for you. I'm from Maryland. 27. What? I know I like what you're saying, what you have to say. I just had a question about what you thought about the black street culture that's going on today. And the reason I bring it up is because, like, it was pretty prominent when I was growing up, but it was kind of like whatever. But nowadays it's like spreading so bad to where it's not just like, it's not black street culture, it's just street culture anymore. And I realized, or I've seen that it's very like pro-crime and all that. And I was just wondering what your opinion on it is and where do you think it stems from?
So I'm not sure what you mean by black street culture. Like, what are we talking about exactly?
Like it sounds kind of like buzzwordy, but like you're like gangster rap and like street talk.
Okay,
you know what I'm talking about?
I see. Yeah. I see. Like Instagram talk.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, you can put it that way.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Really
I think what's happening is just exactly the way I phrased it. Instagram. You have the internet. A lot of these kids, they are not even really part of like the quote unquote street culture. Really, they hear things in music. They see things on their phone, on their Instagram, their Snapchat, or whatever. It's like me. I'm not. How old are you again? You said 27.
Yeah, I'm 27.
Now, did you always have a phone, like a smartphone in your hand growing up? Like, were you always in?
I never got a smartphone or even the internet until I was out of high school. So.
Yeah, so a lot of these kids, 18, 19, they've always known how to use a smartphone. They've always had the internet. So they're the way that they behave in their culture, a lot of times is influenced by what they see on social media. And a lot of that is this weird kind of street talk, kind of Instagram stuff. So it'd be kids that are not even necessarily from that kind of environment that are behaving like that because they've been influenced through social media, through music, constantly barraging in their head over and over again, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how it spread, in my opinion. And then you have people that talk about defund the police and hands up, don't shoot, or whatever. So then that kind of encourages the crime element, and then you have they're talking about let's not have cash bail, anything below $1,000, let's not prosecute. So then it becomes incentivized to go out there and do wrong. They might not need to do wrong, but they're incentivized to do it. So they get all this stuff from the internet. Then they're being told by politicians, you can do pretty much whatever you want to do, no consequence. So then that kind of spreads this kind of degenerate type of culture. Does it make any sense?
Yeah, that I see what you're saying because it like I'm not too old, but like I grew up when the internet just started getting big, kind of thing. But like I'm from like the countryside of Maryland. So like when I was growing up, people like the only people that we would see that would act with like that street culture were like people from like the cities and moving here. But and then later on, as I grew up, like a lot of people started adopting that, and they pick up the slang and pick up the accent. And I thought it was odd because we didn't grow up that way. And even like my little sister, like she's like 16, and she acts that way, and she's all into this, nonsense. And it makes sense because they're all, my sister, for example, is just glued to her phone all the time. So
Exactly.
That makes sense.
That's why. That's exactly why she's getting it from her phone.
Yeah, because my influence growing up, was like my parents and like being outside, and then like besides that, like Saturday morning cartoons, And I thought it was odd, like how degenerate the society's getting, and it's to the point now where it's just like it's okay to act that way, and like the way of like just every other word's a curse word out of your mouth, and then like you're allowed to like kind of be stupid, if that makes sense.
Yes, I understand. 100%. It's cool to be stupid. It's not cool to be smart. That's the kind of culture that has spread through the internet, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's hard to find like decent people out there to like actually listen to, like yourself and other people like that. I have one more question. What do you think? I don't want to take too much time. What do you think about, like, are you worried about the politicians people prop up just for race or sex?
Well, I mean,
or do you think they don't do that, or do you think they do that?
Well, that happens to a certain extent, I guess, on the left mostly, not necessarily on the right. I mean, I guess a little bit happens on both sides, but I'm not really worried about it. I think the main thing would be I think the main thing would be just the policy of whoever is popular, whoever I guess is being quote unquote propped up. The main thing is the policy, because I don't particularly care why somebody is being elevated. The main issue is, what are their policies? I don't care what color they are or what the motive is behind it. Can I get a good result out of it? That's my main objective. That's my main focal point.
Yeah, I see your point on that. Now I appreciate it. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I saw that you were on, and I like your show, so I figured I'd call and ask you a couple questions.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, man, these kids, like on Instagram, I see it. Like they have that street talk, like a lot of slang words, and back in the day, like a lot of words that are being made popularized on Instagram, I was saying like in high school, you know what I'm saying, F-boy and stuff like that. I was hearing that like in the 90s. And then it became popular again like recently because of Instagram. A lot of the stuff that they do, a lot of stuff that the young people, the cool kids say, is all on the internet. It's not really a street thing. The streets, there's a clear difference between the street and the internet. And it's not the same at all. The street is way different. It's also kind of influenced by the internet, but it's not the same at all. All right, let me get to some more callers here. The number to call, 434-658. You know the rest. If you don't, I can't do nothing for you. But anyway, 760, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Chris. Let me turn this down. Hey, this is Chris.
All righty, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. I just wanted to call for two reasons. There was a caller a while back who was talking about, we need to try to get ahead of liberals. It seems like they're always ahead of us with their narratives or whatever it is that they're saying. And I agree with him. Let me take a breath here. So I saw this Senate bill in Kentucky, a red state. I want to say it was Kentucky, and it was the broadening of disorderly conduct. So they were trying to make this piece of legislative bill to minimize our free speech, right? Through broadening of, excuse me, through the broadening of disorderly conduct. So I think conservatives, maybe we can do something that's in reverse of that. Look at whatever laws that we have on the books and try to broaden them to our favor. So it seems like they're always trying to reduce our Second Amendment rights and stuff. So whatever laws that we have on the books, it would, kind of be to our advantage to look and see where we can broaden those at. Maybe that might get us, somewhere in the lead of liberals, more specifically property rights, right? My thought is that they're going to be doing away with a lot of these storefront, brick and mortar stores, mom and pop shops, and a lot of the criminals are going to go into the suburbs. So I think it would be a good time to broaden some of the private property laws. And then the last thing I'd like to say is for the transgender community or just the athletes, I think most of we just complain about it, right? We don't come up with solutions. And I was just thinking that maybe we should treat it kind of similar to like Special Olympics, have their own category of them competing, not necessarily against people, but maybe for times. But that's it.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. Bye.
Now, as far as the whole trans thing, you should be able to compete with your birth gender. If you're an XY male, compete against other XY males. You can have the Bret the Hitman Hart hairstyle you want to, Leah Thomas, but it doesn't really matter. You're still an XY male. So identify as whatever you want to identify as, but still compete with your biological, your equivalent, your XY. That's it. If you're biological XX, compete with that. That's it. It's simple. It shouldn't be that difficult, but for some reason, in this year, 2021, it is difficult. It should not be that way. All right. All right, friends, what's going on?
Oh, great. ABL, how you doing?
I'm well. How about yourself?
It's all good, man. Thanks for taking the call.
No problem.
Let me adjust my volume a little bit here. There we go. Okay. I just wanted to talk a few stuff quickly. So I wanted to ask you, did you see a tweet about the Wall Street Journal opinion that they say that the Omicron will put a blanket on immunization on everybody?
Hilarious.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, they're saying like Omicron is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it here. It says that Omicrons might end the pandemic by leaving a blanket of immunity in its wake.
You know what? I was thinking that already because they said that it was real mild. I was reading the symptoms. They're like, okay, it's going to be runny nose. It's like a cold. So if I get that, I'm going to get the antibodies. So let me get that. It's going to be mild. I got the antibodies. I'm good.
Right. You know the funny part is that here in Puerto Rico we have those old symptoms. When we get those symptoms, we have a word for that. We call it the la monga. In English, like a rough translation will be the floppy. but it's because your body get so ache so much that you can't move. You're all floppy around.
Right, I see.
Okay, but when I read, I'm like, wait a second. This is not making any sense. But hey, if it's gonna immune everybody without killing them, all good. Good.
Great.
Okay. There was another thing that I wanted to talk to you. I was looking around and I found an article that is called "How Watson and Crick Predicted the Origin of Omicron," and this is it. And it is weird because I was reading all of it, and in one part it says that an RNA genome, like the virus that's currently running around, must also replicate. Okay, in order to mutate, must copy itself, and becomes two of them, right? But the article mentions that the mutation happens because a mistake when it copies itself. Okay, you following me?
I follow you, yeah.
Okay. So in order for the virus to mutate, okay, it needs to be able to copy itself, right? So what was needed was to give people treatment, those kind of treatments that prevents the virus from replicating itself, right?
Right.
Okay. But those treatments were, vilified. Okay. Which was the hydro and was iver.
Right, exactly. So the very thing that will work, that we all knew would work from the beginning, is now being verified to work, but we can't have that. They want to vilify it, make it illegal and everything else, because there's a thing over here that we can actually put a patent on and make a bunch of money.
Yes. I have another something quick. Have you read or heard about something called the Nuremberg Code?
Yeah, Nuremberg.
Yeah. Nuremberg Code. That, yes?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading about it. I don't know if anyone is interested. It's called the Nuremberg Code, that basically says that people should not be experimented without consent, right? Because obviously people could say, yeah, give me the treatment. Okay, but peculiarly, I was reading an article that mentions that, but also mentions something called UN Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights. Okay, and has something called in Article 6, Section 3 of that document says, in no case should a collective community agreement or the concept of a community leader or other authority substitute for an individual's informed consent to take a proceeding. Okay, this is very interesting. The document again is called UN Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights. Oh, my English is not coming out too well tonight. Okay, that's for the most part what I wanted to mention, because I found it to be very interesting. Regarding the just one thing regarding the number code, if anyone wants to check it out, you have to look it up, and it's the information about not getting experimental treatment. It's in the volume 2, page 181. Volume 2, 181 of the whole documentation. One last thing. Okay, I want to encourage people to read Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington. Okay, and now I'm reading the narratives of Frederick Douglass. If you have a chance, read it. They're really good. Okay, and to close down, as always, I want to make a shout out to all the Puerto Ricans, those that are if anyone in chat or listening to the video, or those that will listen to the video. Okay, you're not alone. Okay,
all right,
and that will be all, Ivy.
Thank you for the call, man.
For the opportunity.
No problem.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Good night.
All right. Shout out to my man France with a call. I'm trying to get to a few more here. 530, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Rob from Sacramento.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, you got a lot of people out in California, and I just want to let you know you got to get a call screener for all the drunk Southerners calling in, brother. They're killing your show.
Hey, man, I get people that drink all over the whole world, so it ain't the South by itself. I get people that drink all over the planet.
I know. Hey, I just watched your Red Pill Moment video, and I was wondering, is it just when you get older you get red pilled, or can you get red pilled when you're young?
That can happen at any point in time, but I think definitely when you get older, you're probably more susceptible to it because you've kind of lived and you've seen things, and just from your life experience, you start to kind of put pieces together, and then it kind of clicks for you. So probably when you get older, but definitely it can happen when you're younger. It just depends on how much life you've lived as a young person.
All right, well, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
All right, let's get to. I got time for a couple more. All right, let's try 918. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL.
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is JB Scotchman from Oklahoma.
All righty, what's going on?
And Joe Biden, how much longer can this country take of him and his administration? I mean, it's barely been a year yet, and just everything he can do wrong, he has done wrong. I mean, what else is left? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, I'm pretty much done with him already. I'm not really sure how we're going to last another 3 years with this guy in there. It's going to be tough. Yeah. And really, I'm not sure how long the left are going to put up with him.
Yeah, I mean, he can't even like be at the actual White House when he signs, papers or does like interviews. He's got that little movie set place on the side of on the lawn that he goes there. I
have no idea what that's all about. It's just like you're right across the street from the White House. So just go to the White House. I don't understand why he's over in the movie set. That's really, really strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. Maybe he's got some kind of special medical facility in there or something, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, man, it's worse than I thought. I never thought it'd be this bad so soon. And honestly, I don't think he's going to make it the rest of the whole till 2024. I don't think he's not in the shape to do it. It's just not going to happen, I don't think.
He might not be able to make it. He might call it quits and just go back to Wilmington and let Kamala Harris take over, which would probably be worse than him.
Right. And then you're going to have Pelosi, who's third in line. I mean, good Lord. Oof. I don't know. I just pray that we can make it to the midterms and have a fair election. That's got to happen. Because if we cannot have another fair election, then it's over, for this country, I'm afraid.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my rant. Yeah. I mean, Biden, everyone, the whole administration is just a total joke. It's not good at all.
I agree with you. Right on.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, love your show. Love watching you. Love listening to everyone else call in. So keep it up, man.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Later, dude.
All right. Great call. I got time for maybe one more. Let's try that right here. All right. 304, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Jeff in West Virginia. How you doing tonight, ABL?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good. But I was going to say, it's raining here tonight, too. So if my phone cuts out, I'm blaming it on the black man.
There you go.
Specifically Barack Obama. Boy, this transgender swimmer, this is a tough one. The right, they want this competition to be fair. The left, they don't want anybody's feelings to be hurt. So I'm thinking what we need on the women's swim team now is a place kicker. And what she would do is she would kick him in a certain place before the race starts. And then if he wins, he can lay in the fetal position in victory on the podium. That's what I'm thinking. I think that would be fair.
Yeah, make it an even playing field. Okay, it sounds good to me.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm glad I could change your mind. Boy, I don't know. And these women in public, like these ASU gals, they just want to get all over this guy or those two guys in the room there. And like that lady on the plane, I know you say you shouldn't say anything, but it's hard when somebody like that comes up on you and you're not expecting it, I mean, I had one of these big blue-haired gals the other day. I was in public, and she's like, "Hey, your white privilege is showing." I look down and I check my fly and I say, "It absolutely is not." But I just wanted to call in and give a few jokes tonight. But hey, man, tell all your callers that, don't be nervous, people, when you call into this guy. He's not going to slap the microphone and start hollering about he's not this guy or whatever. Make you a few notes. And don't be so nervous. Hey, it's no big deal. But One last thing before I get off here. You say you got big plans next year, huh?
Yes.
Well, now, I'm no Magic 8 Ball, but here's my guess for ABL in the next year.
Okay.
He's going to quit the show, and he's going to replace Morgan Freeman as the black voice of comfort and wisdom for white people in movies and television. Am I close?
Hey, you know what? That might be a little bit early for that one. I might need to do it one like later on in my life. Maybe that'll happen.
Let's hope so. Hey, man, and like I say, all the callers, call into this guy. He's not going to be mad at you or anything. He makes it real easy. Just take yourself a few notes. Hey, y'all have a good evening, and thanks for allowing me to be on open mic night.
All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to my man from Del V. You know, I heard the accent and I see the area code. And thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet, but that'll be a wrap for me. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. That'll help me out tremendously. And thank you to the mods, keeping them trolls in check. I most certainly appreciate you. And I got a meme for you before I start reading super chats and then sign on off. Here is a good meme for you guys. I don't know if you saw it earlier. This is what happens when you crush the blue pill and snort it. My man got the Oculus so he could be in the metaverse and the mask on at the same time. What are you doing with a mask on and all that? It's like you're totally engulfed in the Matrix. You put yourself back in the Matrix pod right there. And by the way, that movie, the Matrix movie, no bueno, not good at all. Don't go see it. The first act was the worst thing you're ever going to see in your life. If you want to see a bad movie, watch The Matrix, especially that first act. It was terrible. But anyway, we got super chats on deck. I'm going to read right quick, and then I wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. So let's go right here, back to where I was the last time. I'll be here Saturday. Yeah, most certainly, because that's not New Year's Eve. That's New Year's Day. So I'll be here Saturday. Yeah, no problem. And I will be streaming live tomorrow with Brandon unless he cancels. But I think he will be here tomorrow. So we'll see. If he's on, I'm on. Basically, if he streams, I'm on with him. You know, I'm like the first lieutenant. Hold on. So let's go to the anti-view who says, why is calling someone lemon jello racist, yet calling someone Karen is not? I never heard about lemon jello. What's that? Like, what is that? I never heard that term as a quote unquote slur. So I have no idea. Thank you to TSM Space who says, on virus restriction changes, I have to say when I watch Fauci talk, I think he's working for someone directly. He has his instructions. Exactly. There you go. Thank you to Boat versus Windshield who says 2022 elections, we all need to tighten up and volunteer to watch ballots counts now for local elections. We the people need to see our own votes. Yes, 100%. Volunteer, go out there, because the left, they're going to be out there. They're trying to get already in position right now. We got to be out there right now volunteering and doing our part to make sure that our vote is counted properly. Absolutely. Because like I said, people counting the votes are just people. We're people too. So why can't we do the same thing that they do? Also, the anti-view says, do people not remember the R word whistle? It rhymes with Planet of the Apes. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll move on. Then they say to yell fire. So if someone walks up on you with a gun, yell fire, shaking my head, roll the nuts. So you got to whistle and you say fire. That's going to tell them to shoot the gun. Thank you to Hodge's wife for being a long-term member who says Romans 14 regarding personal health care. One love. Thank you for that. Thank you to Blast Radius who says, speaking of ASU, mixed people I notice usually are the most militant when it comes to being a blacktivist. I think because they're insecure about the mixed race and want to belong to a group, so they get extra with it. You said it perfectly. They're insecure about their race. They want to belong to a group. It's a Colin Kaepernick syndrome, right? When he came into the league, I didn't even know he was black. I thought he was some kind of Italian or Arab or something like that. So to prove his blackness, he has this really big, crazy, beautiful afro, right? And then he goes out there talking about blackity black, woke this, woke that, all this, that, and the third. And by the way, he lost a deal for like $90 million because he didn't want to do press. So he may want to be a blacktivist, but he don't really want to go out there and do press and be on the spot and talk too much. You know what I'm saying? He might be able to do movies and little documentaries like Ava DuVernay's little after-school specials that go on Netflix, but those are heavily edited. He's not really confident in being able to speak live for an extended period of time while doing press and getting asked questions. because they may say, hey, man, where your turtle at that you had back in the day? Remember the Colin Kaepernick's turtle? Hold on. I got to show the turtle that he had back in the day. This was him when he first came into the league. He was just, good guy playing with his big turtle, and it was all good. That was Kaepernick back in the day. So they're gonna say, hey, man, where your turtle at, man? You still got it? Did you set it free? Like, what's going on? So rather than this big turtle, and understand, Kaepernick's like 6'4" and a former NFL quarterback, so that's a really big turtle right there. But anyway, he don't want to get asked some questions anymore. So he don't want to. He wants to kind of be a silent activist. It's really crazy. But anyway, I'll move right along. Thank you to Texas Sweet Tea, who says, ABL, I thought you sold me my first 5 for 50 pack of 5 for 20 pack of mixtapes at the mall in 08. LOL. That wasn't me. That was my statement though, because I did have friends that did that. But you know what? I'm actually I'm lying. I did used to do that back in the day. I was doing that way back, like in college, high school time. I was selling CDs when I was like 18, 19, but 5 for 20, I would never. I was selling CDs for like $10 a piece. I was hitting them in the head. I had movies for $10, $15 on the day of release. I was crazy. But this is way back in like 03, 04, I was doing that. 05, that era. Okay, the snap music era. I was selling CDs and stuff back then. But that was a good super chat though. And Butt vs. Windshield says, ABL, I will have to start calling you Rico Suave the way you can lead people off of the calls. Hey, man, I got to do what I got to do, man. But I'm trying to be nice and polite. That's all. Treating everybody with respect and kindness. Thank you to Jesse Judah for your donation. The victory donation. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Leo, who says, even Annika Sorenstam had problems playing against men in the PGA. Exactly. Because men are just physically superior to women as far as your strength and things of that nature. What we can't do is obviously carry a baby or nurse a baby or anything like that. Women can do that. We can't. We have differences. We need to embrace them rather than trying to act like they don't exist. Trying to battle, trying to fight human nature, trying to fight Mother Nature. It's dumb. Thank you to Butt vs. Windshield, who says, endemic happens to every virus. It's running out of steam. So now it's a weaker version, but it spreads more. They want to claim vax victory. Exactly. Thank you to Tomao, who says, General Ford prophesies about these days. Not General Ford, pardon me, Gerald Ford. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says, yesterday I was on Daisy Cousins' live stream and a lefty kept insisting that January 6th was worse than all the Antifa, BLM, rioting, looting, and vandalism. These people are lost. Here's to a better 2022. Right on. So you guys enjoy your new year. Happy New Year. Some of y'all are celebrating already. Please, please, please drive safely. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't be no dope fiend out here getting slizzard, as they say back in the day. Don't get slizzard on the road acting the fool. Please be responsible. Please be safe and enjoy. Happy New Year. I will see y'all again probably tomorrow if Tatum streams on his channel. And I'll be live again New Year's Day that night. So enjoy your new year. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace. That was totally unsmooth. I got it. So let's try one more time. Peace.